Welcome, John. Happy holidays to you as well. Last stream before Christmas. I'm getting set up. So give me a minute. How are you this fine evening? This peaceful Sunday evening, I hope, for everybody. Get situated. Many cables everywhere. Nice. I like seeing you and Jacob both working on animations. Reminds me I should probably start tinkering with it again soon. But I'm lazy. I'm focusing on digital painting. I did not watch the Game Awards, but I did. I know yesterday or Friday, I had a buddy of mine over, had a couple people over, and we hung out. We ended up pulling because we were talking about Balatro. I did pull up the medley they did. I haven't watched the Muppets bits yet, even though I'm sure they are wonderful. Yeah, I'm hoping things keep going in a positive direction, you know? End of the year. I want everyone to be okay. Okay. A new day? Okay, so Slay the Spire 2 I knew about. There's a second Dave the Diver? Hold up. Oh, jeez. I don't know if I can do a second game of Dave the Diver. I like that game, but it was, Dave the Diver in the Jungle? Are you serious? Okay. Alright. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. What the... Alright, hold up. No fooling. I think we can do it. I think if I get... Oh, hold up. No. Wait, I want to pull it up on screen. We'll see. I gotta see this. Hold on, sorry. Getting all my sources, getting all my resources figured out. So we're getting Dave the Diver in the Jungle. Oh yeah? Oh no, it's all janked up. Let's fix that. We turn off the snow and stuff too. No, we'll keep it out. It's for the effect. Live. Fendi reacts to Dave the Diver DLC. I'm curious how he goes here for sushi. Like, I don't know. Hey Shauna, if you're listening, do you have a pair of headphones I can use? With a cable? Alright, that's a solid teaser. I'm hearing it like all distorted on my end because my headphones are all jacked up. Okay, I'm in. I'm curious. Catgirl ones. Does that have a cable to it? Like, can that plug in through, like, does that plug in through Standard port. I guess I need to order a new cable. That was unexpected. I've been kind of stretching it thin with this particular. It's okay. It's okay. I can deal. Let me see here. Let me just get some music going. I typed in the wrong kind of vaporwave. No, I want relaxing vaporwave. There we go. I think I can do without him. Hold up. I've got like a directional mic. Sorry, everybody. Okay, hold up. You might be hearing. Let me know if you're like hearing like a weird echo or anything. I mean, I don't need this super loud. I'll turn this up a bit. Nah, I think I'm good. I mean, I wouldn't mind if I didn't have to wear headphones for streaming. I usually do, just in case, like, I don't want the volumes to get all janked up, but I usually have the music pretty low anyway. It never came up as an issue when we were playing UFO 50 or Donkey Kong or anything, so we'll see. Okay, let me send out my links. Sorry. And we can get back to it. Hey, Shadow Man, how you doing tonight? Happy holidays to you. So I just get kind of situated here. I mean, yeah, if this isn't, like, causing anything, I think we're alright. Alright. Dave the Diver in the Jungle. That's gonna be interesting, so I guess we might see Jingle Bells. Jingle bells to you, sir. Jingle bells to you, sir. Okay, sorry, I'm like figuring out how to do this. I'm getting used to doing the whole dual streaming thing still. Okay, I think I'm getting it. Ah, Life Day. I heard I heard Skeleton Crew references them or redesigns Chewbacca's family or something. I don't know. I saw a mutual complaining about it. I was like, uh-oh. What are they doing? They're gonna mess with the Christmas special? Jingle bells, everybody. Jingle bells. For whom the jingle bells toll. I think as long as I don't play another I think you should leave skit, I shouldn't get in any trouble. But I had to let everyone know about the skeleton war, you know? I felt that was on a need-to-know basis. Okay. So how's everyone's weekend been treating them? Everyone all excited for the... Everyone all excited for Christmas? Nothing about Life Day yet? Okay. I know it's Life Day. I just... The 2 and 9 monthers. Man, Phil, you the best. You all the best. Hopefully I did this right. Alright, well I made a bold choice of friggin' posted this on posted this on Twitter. Stressful parts are over. That's right. Yeah, everyone. It sounds like overall everyone's been really enjoying. Like Sonic 3 has been the payoff, which is, I'm glad. Like, I'm not a Sonic guy, but you know what? I'm glad that the movies have seemed to have been like the opposite of diminishing returns. Like, each movie seems to kind of keep hitting like a high point, and I think that's great. I really am happy to hear that it seems like I don't know, anything I've heard that's a disappointment isn't like a disappointment or anything. It's like, yeah, it was cool that they did this, but this could have been done slightly better. Nice. My wife's got those 2 days off as well as do I. God, setting up links takes forever. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think we just wrapped up our gifts. I'm pretty excited. I'm back into Helldivers 2, Shadow Man. I thought you'd appreciate that. I did some randoms. I gotta get over not doing randoms because I don't know. Even when I did them before when the game first came out, and thank you, Phil, again for the always being a subscriber. Don't forget to smash that like button, everybody. Alright, let me get my Clip Studio going here. Get the snow, wipe the snow off. Ah. Yeah, I might go pick up some liquor and some other provisions, but I think we're pretty much set here for Christmas. How does the sound? Everything sound okay? Because I'm going without my headphones, so like, I use my TV as my monitor, so that's playing the music too. So I don't know if it's like, I also have the directional mic set properly. I actually took the time to read instructions. I'm sorry, I realized just now, Usa and Lady Dracula, you both have the same color. Like, it's very slight shades of yellow, I think, difference-wise, so I thought you were talking. So, earlier when I was testing out my tablet, I did draw what I think is, like, Luna seemingly dressed up in some sort of Christmas outfit, and she's, like, disappointed. Maybe she's bummed out that it's Santa Claus and not Krampus. She was like, she always forgets when Krampusnacht comes. It's a real problem for her. My name is pink on my phone. Yeah, it's yellow here. Oh, thank you. You know what? I'm gonna work with this then. Thank you, T-Dog. Sorry. You're not Krampus. You're not Krampus. You're a Kringle. You're some sort of Kringle, you is. Alright. Just adjust my thing. Sorry, I am like trying to set up. Nice, nice. What you drawing? Everyone's been drawing cool stuff lately. I'm happy to see it. I'm hoping I get knuckled down on me and Hunch and John's sticker rally drawing. I got like 2 poses kind of down that I'm hoping to go with. I'm hoping when I get the Steam Deck, it's not going to completely tank my... Granted, I have survived having Balatro on my phone. Surprisingly, having Balatro on my phone has been a net gain. Like, I don't know. The game helps me... Oh. God dang it. It's like when I got Gibson. It's like Joey today. Like, I'm sitting there like, God dang it. I hope to repay it. I know it's like I'm not required to, but I want to. But I do hope to kind of pay it forward at some point. Sorry, I'm adjusting my cables. I have been I tell you, he goes hard, and like, and it was weird. But like, well, this is probably just Joey being Joey. He's a jokester, that fella. If it wasn't obvious to anybody who has ever like interacted with him, he's a bit of a jokester, bit of a clown, as it were. bit of a goofus with some gallant qualities. But yeah, he's like, yeah, with stuff like this, I can with friends like you guys, I can half-ass this, and I'm like, that's half-assed. All right, okay. I got though doing that. Joey has an ability that I really need to start cracking down on myself that I'm hoping to do in the next year. I get too focused on single character pieces. That's why that stupid Macy's Day Parade balloon parody thing with like Galaxia and I had like all the monsters there. That was a huge step for me because I always struggle. It's not that I can't do it, it's just for whatever reason I struggle wanting to do it. It's kind of combating my own laziness, I think. It's like how John Tanium, you have like, you know, that whole Bug City lineup, and I'm like, every time I go to do a lineup, it never works out. It's either I lose interest or something. I think I'm just making peace with the fact that I am like the most... I have been talking about opening commissions for like weeks, but I think I am going to do some... I'm planning things out. I got a few things. I got two little things I need to do for the book. And then we're done. We're absolutely done. That's been an interesting process. Tell ya, man, graphics designers, the unsung heroes of your books. Readability can increase by like 80% if you got a good graphics designer on your side. Highly recommend having one if you go for any sort of publishing. Hey, Master Fran, how you doing tonight? Hope you are having a good night. Oh man, John Tanium drawing a Bug City character? I gotta draw more Bug City characters. I want to draw Samson since I saw the new look. I've been learning how to draw like muscles. Until I got lazy because I just get PNGs from individual characters. I mean, it still works. It's the smarter way to go about it, in my opinion. Happy holidays to everybody, if I haven't gotten yet. Happy holidays, Master Fran, Shadow Man, all the man. I managed to pull myself away from UFO 50 to do an art stream. I almost caved. I almost caved at the end. I almost caved and thought, maybe I can sneak in one more art stream. I was like, no. Castley is always a lot of fun to draw. So is Bomba. I like those two. I do like Samson a lot, though. Like his 90s Jim Bro vibes. I don't know if he calls people bro, but it's like I see him saying it in like such a genuine way. It comes off like very like truthful. And he's not just saying it like a bro. Like it's like, nah, this man truly believes you are his bro. But that's just me. That's my headcanon. It's funny to ask people what their headcanons are for OCs. You are Krampus. That's the I mean, I think every universe needs a frat alternate universe, if I'm being honest. Oh man, Sorority Galaxia sounds like a friggin' nightmare. But that's the thing, I also don't see her being part of a sorority. She just kind of claims she is. Frat boy Samson. Alright, hold up. hold the phone. Hold on, because I really do need to start just kind of saying screw it and just going for it, drawing for people and stuff. Is that friggin' Sorority Galaxera would be an absolute nightmare. She would definitely be the lady who goes too hard when she's like trying to fit in. Hold on, I'm trying to find like something here. Ah, sorry, I'm having issues. Okay. There he is. Okay. Monsters. Head fanons. Yeah, that's a way to describe them. Mine would basically be a take on Monsters University, except it would be more akin to like Animal House than anything else. Robot House. It's a delightful movie. Oh no, is my internet going out? Are we still good? Because we've been having internet issues a lot lately. I hope so. It's friggin' bullshit. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna have to do this like the old-fashioned way. I don't want to. Our internet has been being like, we're still here. It's maybe from the weather. No, our internet just kind of sucks. This has happened during like summer. It's happened when the weather was just fine. It happened when it was placid. Sorry, I'm having that problem where I draw everything too big. It's a problem I have. That's why I like drawing on digital. I get to adjust the size of the canvas. Oh, something for John Tanium here. How are you doing this fine evening, Henshin John? How's the post-nasal drip treating you? Because we seem to have a pox going through this house, too. So I'm looking forward to possibly having my own. I'm not a frat boy. Not a broad-chested frat boy. Still coughing? Ugh. One of our dogs is having a similar issue. There's something going around. Also, regarding Nosferatu, just jumping back to the Sonic conversation, I would definitely... I'll try and get out to the theaters to see that. I've been bad again. Samson is definitely that guy who has, like, his Sleeves torn off. I mean, that's the thing. It's like I talked about the first Sonic movie because I haven't seen 2 yet. The only thing that has me interested in any of these movies is I love Idris Elba, but I'm kind of whatever about Knuckles. I'm just whatever. I just really came to the conclusion that I'm just not a Sonic guy nowadays. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is, gifting things away. Santa memes. Why do you do that? I shoved the stuff at my wife. However, hey now. No one's shoving sandwiches at my wife's face. It's me! Finally had a French dip this week. That was a highlight. Now, would Samson play football or basketball? Because I can see him excelling at both. Counter as Shadow is a disappointment. I mean, I'm assuming, yeah, it was... Santa Mapes is coming to town. Yeah, you can hear it for miles. Okay, good. So when people start cheering and laughing when a little girl gets shot, it's not as awkward. Actually, wait, no, it's probably more awkward. I'm just gonna make a guess here that Samson totally, like, he's a basketball guy. Okay, good. Well, I kept seeing that. So I was always like, what? I kept seeing that meme and I'm like, please don't tell me that it's gonna happen. That's good. I'm happy to hear they were cowards and only used laser guns. I mean, concessions had to be made. Alright, guys, the stage is set for Penders to finally hit the screen with the real Sonic movie. That man knows how to get movies made in Hollywood, I hear. That's why he totally stabs Ben Hurst in the back and, you know, talks trash about him even though he's dead. That's good. I hear there's some fun stuff in there. Basically, Meep still hates Santa, but Santa dies. Oh no! Why would Meeps kill Santa? I know why. You don't have to explain. I always assumed Santa was an unkillable being. I mean, you know, he's been around forever. He's been around forever, and he can hassle Darkseid. John, happy holidays to you, my friend. Trying to get everybody who comes on in. I mean, so far the movie's been getting, like, it sounds like the most consistently good. It sounds like the most consistently good movie. Really? That's good. I'm very happy to hear that. Well, because I know I'm whatever about Sonic, but I know, like, for a lot of people, Sonic is that character for them, and I'm not going to be a jerk just because I think Penders sucks. I'm not going to be a dick to people about it. It's like I can't even blame Penders because I'm pretty sure most of the Sonic fandom hates him. But it's like, I don't know, like, I hear everyone's rooting for Sonic 06 to come back now or something. The Santa title, so the name lives on. I know, but I don't like how the cookies with Meeps are probably going to become less of like, Santa never punished people who never gave him cookies. Meeps probably will. They'll just be like a fist in the wall. Every year it gets a little harder to, like, buff out, like to spackle over. Does anyone remember that Penders actually released his book? Did any outside of joke things? Well, you have to realize Robotnik needs to be there. You know, you need something. Look, unless you're gonna start bringing in what was the name of the big Mammoth Mogul? If you're gonna bring in Mammoth Mogul, you gotta set him up. Sorry, I'm struggling with his legs here. He's got those interesting bipedal legs. Memphis Tennessee. My theater died every time. I mean, yeah, Carrie's doing. It's vintage Carrie. Is what I felt about it. You know, it felt very much hey, this is something that Carrie would have also done back in his bigger heyday. You know, when he was doing. Again, I loved The Grinch. I thought Carrie was perfect. He made that movie, and I think the movie as a whole was just really well done. There's a lot of good set design, a lot of good. Just everything was good. Yeah, you gotta give him that little bit of pathos, you know? Or pathos, whatever you prefer. Gary can do that. He was he played Stanley Ipkiss pretty, sympathetically, you know? And yeah, Truman Show is probably the biggest, There was I didn't see... I admittedly did not watch a lot of Carrie's dramatic stuff. You know, I was I love him as Ace Ventura, I love him in Dumb and Dumber. Ugh. Why am I so bad at drawing these? I gotta learn how to draw these legs right. I just struggle with them. Yeah, because Truman Show is I know Truman Show manages to be a nice. Because I've seen people consider it one or the other. Or at least they're less harsh on the division between it. Oh. Gotta stretch. Oh, yeah, I mean, Eternal Sunshine, I'm sure. Okay, good. He seemed like a baller. Oh, yeah, see, Samson seems like the type, he would just bring down the whole backboard. You know, not just, he wouldn't just break the glass, he would just pull down the entire backboard all at once. Yeah, this isn't even him in a game. This is just him wanting to show off. And he saw some people practicing and thought he'd show him something. Y'all want to see something cool? You guys want to see something rad as hell? That ballin' meme, the fighting game community made an enemy out of me. The Guilty Gear community in particular. When they were doing that thing with Bridget, a character who I have no qualms with Bridget's gender or anything like that. I fought a Bridget cosplayer at ASEN years back, and they were really weird and mean, and I just kind of ruined that. I actually love Bridget's theme, but I hated it when they did the Bridget meme with the balling, and then they were showing they'll know the real ballers, and I did not see the real ballers of the fighting game scene, and I did not see Lucky Glauber from King of Fighters. I was furious. Lucky Glauber is the man. You do not besmirch him for being the baller. Oh man, Cable Guy is good though. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. See, Cable Guy I enjoy because I enjoyed it as a bit of a time capsule movie. You know? It's a weird little movie in history because it's kind of Jim. Well, it was the first situation where people were kind of confused about Jim Carrey and the direction he was going in. Because I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and of course, You know, I thought the medieval times scene was great. The basketball scene was funny. Never seen The Cable Guy? I'd say it's worth watching. It's a weird movie. That's a Ben Stiller movie too, right? Like he directed it because I know he's in there as like a parody of the Menendez brothers or something like that, which was a big court case that was happening. Oh, he ballin', he ballin'. Samson strikes me as a baller. I said he tears down the whole thing, like, you know. I mean, that is some amazing cinematography when he breaks the backboard in The Cable Guy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no. What are you talking about, Ryan? You got friends here, man. I like to think of myself as your friend. I wish we lived closer. We'd hang out all the time, probably. Or at least often. No, I get that. I don't think so. I mean, I know it's hard because I struggle with it too, always thinking I'm annoying. But I think sometimes you just have to kind of sit there and think about, like, the kind of people who inhabit the world nowadays. Anytime I have met you, my friend, you have always been nothing but a gentleman. And you carry that within your live streams as well. That is my opinion, at least. Cable Guy is a unique movie, though, when you look at it, because Janine Garofalo, David Spade. It's like a weird little time capsule of the 90s, because, yeah, you have Jim Carrey. This was post The Mask, I believe, right? Pretty sure it was post The Mask, because it was kind of when Jim Carrey was, like, that guy. You needed, like, a wacko in your movie, you'd get him. Oh man, the part in that movie that always makes me and my friends laugh, though, like me and my buddy Eric especially, is when Matthew Broderick's character is having like the nightmare, and he's outside the door, and he's like, "See you later." Stopping down, but it's when he kicks open the door and he's like clinging to the ceiling, like running after him down the hallway. There's some weird camera like cinematography going on in that movie. Oh, Puppy Parade. Sorry, Freddie was being a little ragamuffin about going outside. Like, Cable Guy is an interesting sort of one because it's definitely. I think Cable Guy might have been my first real like interaction with what I guess most people call a black comedy or dark comedy, where it's like, yeah, it's funny, but there's like a real creepy sort of underlying theme to it that's kind of disturbing when you start to really peel back a little bit of layers. Because, like, yeah, as a kid, I watched and I was like, it's Jim Carrey being silly and funny, and of course the medieval times scene. You can't go to a medieval times without immediately thinking of that scene. Like, it's iconic. Like, I would say it's definitely one of those things that like became perfectly intertwined with medieval times as a company. I'm sure anyone who gets a job there that looks like David Spade is immediately regretful. Like, oh. I gotta look up a Letterman's jacket. I never got a Letterman's jacket. Shocking, I know. One of the things I like about Samson's design is I love the fur on his shoulders. It's very saber-tooth. Oh yeah, he balling. Oh hell yeah. I love that after image. It's very like I love that kind of like extravagant design. It's very Marvel. Makes you think of like Kraven the Hunter, the good Kraven the Hunter, not the one from that bad movie. Can you guys believe that Sony's cinematic universe for Spider-Man fell apart? Oh boy, Beau is Afraid is a movie I'm like waiting to watch because Mike, who seems to he's going to be kind of a mainstay. So I hope y'all like him. We're going to be doing our usual. I think Tuesday nights are kind of what we're going to be doing streams of, and stuff like that. But like but he sees all those movies like the A24s and all that, and he just like was like, that's a movie. That is Ari Aster doing it, like, because that's Ari Aster, I believe, right? And he's just going for it. It's like, no, this is a personal movie to me. I am doing what I want. Craven was already not making money. Isn't that technically the second time like Sonic defeated a? Oh, I know, and it's not like high praise, because I gotta admit, when I saw Sonic fans like gloating about beating Morbius at the theaters, I'm like, oh, okay, guys, settle down. Now you're just kind of being bullies. I know Sonic hasn't been getting the respect he deserves. I get it, but you're gloating about beating up Morbius. You're gloating about beating Morbius at the movie theaters. The movie's so bad that people tricked Sony into releasing it twice. Spider-Man villain franchise, not Spider-Man villain. I mean, the sad thing is, here's my thing. Like, they could have made it work in a weird way. Because I still have to see Venom 3. I hear it's alright. And it seems like those movies are, you either love them or you don't. You know, like, they're very much like movies made. Like, Sony could have done something interesting where they just, because what makes Venom work is, here's what makes Venom work. The movies themselves are whatever. Like Let There Be Carnage isn't awful. It's not good. But it wasn't like, it was forgettable. Like, you know, we were robbed when we didn't get the weird, like, we were robbed not getting the weird, like, you know, concept art of Carnage as the Pope and Venom getting the crown of thorns and all that. We were definitely robbed. No one will disagree with that. But, you know, if they, like, Sony could have made something interesting and weird there if they kind of went at it in a better way. And by better way, I mean a way that's not awful. Because, well, for one, you have to hire actors people actually wants to see. Well, Kraven could have worked, but you'd have to be ballsy and you'd have to do Kraven's Last Hunt. Or do a take on that. I mean, but Kraven could have worked as, like, an entertaining bad movie if they just didn't do dumb things like how they did Rhino. Because I remember seeing in the trailer where I'm like, yeah, some of the action's not bad. The guy getting the trap on his head. Like, you could have just made it weird, you know? Because there are people out there who genuinely like those, you know, movies like Daredevil. I don't. Like, that one was not for me. I don't know. Like, Sony should have swung for the fences is basically what I'm saying. You know, like, if you're going to commit to this, then you actually have to actually try and make a good movie. Because a buddy of mine who makes it a point to watch shitty movies, he tried to watch Madam Web. And this is a man who has he watches absolute garbage films. Like, he cherishes it. He is a dumpster diver for film. And he got so frustrated watching Madam Web because there's a weird extended scene of, like, she's like playing with a Pepsi can or a Coke can or something. A Coke, I'd imagine, because it's Sony. But it's like it's just like this weird extended scene, and it's like, you know, if you're gonna make these movies, you should try and at least try to make like what are you going for here? What is your end game? It's weird, you know. I'm not gonna say they could pull it off but it's like the worst thing you can do is make a boring movie or a frustrating movie to watch. And that, to me, is always the issue. Venom works because you casted a likable lead actor. Morbius could have worked if they didn't cast Jared Leto. And if they got, like if they actually... Because there are certain components of Morbius... I am someone who actually likes Morbius as a character. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a Morbius superfan. Head of the Morbius fan club. The Morbinauts is what we call ourselves. We meet every Tuesday on Discord. Nobody comes to the meetings but me. It's kind of sad. But, like, Morbius could have worked if they just made, like, a weird vampire superhero movie. Like, you can't... Look, Marvel's dicking around with Blade. If you just made something where it's Morbius being a cool vampire and doing cool vampire shit, you could have possibly made something that was weird and entertaining. You know, like... Yeah, people aren't going to be praising this movie for its high quality. Like, no one, like, yeah, your movie won't be remembered for being this high quality masterpiece of cinematic splendor, but you could at least make something that's like, hey, you know, there's some fun camera work, like the Doom movie. The Doom movie's not good, but it's clear with what was given, and people still talk about that first person sequence. Like, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Morbius had interesting concepts to it, like Matt Smith as a villain. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's two Doctor Who actors who have been Marvel villains. Because what was his name? I can't. David Tennant was the Purple Man in Jessica Jones, right? I missed out on a lot of those series. But yeah, like, you know, make a movie that's, like, entertainingly bad. Like, in the sense of, like, hey, you know, it's kind of like when people try to make bad movies that are so bad they're good. Excuse me. It doesn't work. There has to be passion behind it. There has to be an intent to make something... There has to be intent to make something good for it to be memorable in any way. And it's like, if you were to talk to, fair, you could do an anti-hero critic. Yeah, I mean, well, and Kraven's an interesting character because he's one of those, he's a Spider-Man character who is written really, when he's in the hands of the right person, he can become a whole different thing. You could, I agree, actually, Shadow Man. Oh, God, it's Cary Tagawa. Also, Johnny Tsunami's uncle. I still remember when that dawned on me. I'm watching Johnny Tsunami on Disney Channel original movie, Johnny Tsunami, and I'm like looking at this guy. Happy holidays, Shadow Man. No worries. Enjoy yourself. You have yourself a good night. Thanks for coming by. I hope to share this Samson eventually. I'm sorry I'm so slow with my stuff, but you have a good night, my friend. I have a lot of gift art I really want to do for people. I mean, yeah. Shao Kahn is canonically Sabrina the Teenage Witch's uncle. That is true. He's also Johnny Tsunami's grandfather. It's a shame Mortal Kombat's in not a great place right now, but hey, Cary Tagawa is eternal. I keep wanting to say Terry Kagawa, and I know that's not right. I gotta make his thighs bigger. Gotta make his thighs bigger. He's got that runner stride. That's right, he was. See, and I don't hate the second Thor movie. It's just okay. It's okay. Like, it's not anything worth... I don't think it's anything worth hating the way people were, and I don't think it's anything worth, like, defending. It's very much in a position of, like, Pacific Rim Uprising, which I know, it's a loaded statement. But I mean, like, there are some movies that just exist in like a weird void where it's like, it's okay. Raul Julia sort of defined. I mean, yeah, like, and I don't find that movie entertaining. Like, I think the original Mortal Kombat, and this is hard for me to say as someone who despises Paul W.S. Anderson, because I think those Resident Evil movies suck. And I hate that he's just like a weirdo about his wife, where it's like, yeah, man, yeah, Resident Evil has all of these, you know, really cool, interesting, you know, female characters who have like their own motivations and stuff. But no, my wife is hot, guys. She's got to be front and center. She's gonna save these characters, okay? Like literally the definition of what I would consider a Mary Sue. It'd be no different than if somebody. It'd be no different if a guy did it. It'd be like, who's John Human here? Yes, my favorite Resident Evil character. Oh yeah, what's his nuts? There's the example from it, actually. The new Mortal Kombat movie, that piece of crap. What's his name? The Cole? Or whatever his name is? Nobody gave a shit about that guy. He was boring. And he was dumb. Because he was repeating another character's purpose. Johnny Cage was meant to be your everyman. But even then, you could have gone weird and done something like Stryker. Mortal Kombat is a return to digitized actors. I mean, if Mortal Kombat... Well, sadly, it seems like people are still on Mortal Kombat 1. For whatever reason, hey, I hear the game's better. I ain't touching it ever again. I'm fine. I know I made everyone suffer with my constant ranting about it, but I felt like I got legitimately scammed. I love Schwarzenegger, but I do not care. Well, it's like I'm seeing stills from the new movie, and I'm like sitting there like, yeah, Carl Urban as Johnny Cage is kind of weird to me. I guess just because nowadays I'm used to seeing the gruffer Carl Urban, but he's also a chameleon. Like, you know, Carl Urban is very much like Vincent D'Onofrio, where it's like, yeah, he's a freaking chameleon. Like, you know his face at a point, but he has been in so many interesting, like... Guess what? He was the Executioner in Thor Ragnarok. He was in the Scorpion King. He was in the Star Trek movies as Bones. And he was the best Judge Dredd. Not that we have a lot, but he was Dredd. And I wish they would let him do Mega City 1. God damn it. I want that show so badly. Like, I friggin' hate that game. And I just hate how people... That's right, I was working on this. You're not Krampus. You're not Krampus at all. Hey, you're not fun. You're fat. That's the thing. Literally nobody. Okay. Well, I have a friend who's trying to convince me to play it again. Like, no, they added in 50/50s and this and this and that. And I'm like, but the core problem with MK1 is this. They can improve the fighting system, they can balance it and everything like that, but they botched one of the major components that kept people like me, who like Mortal Kombat. I love that universe, I love those characters. I do think the multiverse fucked everything up. I don't think they needed to go in that direction, even though this is my favorite take on Liu Kang, because I'm kind of happy to see him being like a center character again, and not kind of like, you know, to the side or dead or something like that. It's nice to see him actually being like a main character. They did not create... Every Mortal Kombat game had at least an enjoyable single-player component to it. Mortal Kombat 9... Oh, don't even get me started, John. Actually, hold up. If they added Scrappy Doo, could I kill him? Whoa, hold up. I will become a tournament player just to hunt down Scrappy Doo players, to fatality them at tournaments. I will quit my job. I will give up art to practice every day with somebody. I will suffer. I'll run into Sonic Fox, and when he goes to make me a persona, I'll be like, aha! Too late. I already have a character people assume is my Sona. I actually don't have a Sona. MK, I mean, if they put, yeah. But it's like, in Mortal Kombat 9, you had the challenge tower, which was awesome. 300 challenges, each that was like ridiculous. leading up to this final confrontation. Like, sure, the prize you got for it was friggin' dumb, the flesh pit Melina costume, but it was whatever. It was, it was an early time. I mean, I would say Melina's up there with Sindel. But, I think Melina's probably surprising nobody, Melina's my favorite MK lady. Actually, wait, no, hold on. You know what? I like Shiva. I actually loved Shiva's design in Mortal Kombat 11. I can't believe there were people out there who were, like, they were mad because she had more clothes, but guys, did you look at, like, she looks cooler, though. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe they went a little too human with her, but I thought she looked cooler. Like, I mean, you can give her old outfit, but that's whatever. But yeah, you had the challenge tower, and then in Mortal Kombat X, you had the crypt, which was like a first-person sort of what are they called? An isometric dungeon crawler, which was kind of cool. And then Mortal Kombat 11 had the crypt, and I know people didn't like. I know some people who didn't like that, but I still thought it was neat because it was at least an interesting single-player component. Invasion mode, the crap that they put into, like, that mode is garbage. It's not fun. It's an annoying board game that's not interesting or fun at all and feels more like busy work. And it sucks because, like, the components around it are kind of interesting. Like, there's some fun ideas there, like how, oh, this timeline, we found this timeline Scorpion has gone mad and we need to, and then you find, like, a timeline where Scorpion's wife doesn't die. Like, there's so many possibilities and they just didn't do it. And it's like, the skins aren't interesting. It's just, they just botched it. And it's like, unlocking stuff is boring. You're forced to play competitive if you want to, like, get stuff, it feels like. It's just, and it's not fun because Mortal Kombat players aren't fun to play against, in my opinion. Outside of the few times I played locally, I never had a good time. It's usually me. The funniest experience I had in Mortal Kombat 1 is because the game defaulted to your microphone and everything being on, because that makes perfect sense, was when I logged on and I was trying it for the first day, and I saw this guy who had like 12 wins, and I'm like, oh damn, I'm gonna die. And I just hear on the other side of this, like, oh no, you alright, I ain't that good. And he wasn't. We had a good couple matches. Thankfully, he wasn't like a pro god gamer. But it was, like, funny. But yeah, I don't know. Mortal Kombat, in my opinion. I did not expect to go on a Mortal Kombat discussion, but I will. And yes, they do need to bring back Mortal Kombat. That's the thing about Mortal Kombat games. The fighting systems were always kind of whatever. Like, and I know that's, like, sacrilege because there's tournament players and stuff like that. But, like, the Mortal Kombat games always struck a nice balance between giving casual players and giving, like, people who want a little more meat to their gameplay on it. And yeah, I thought that version of Shiva was great. Like, I thought they did a good job of kind of making her look. I mean, obviously, I was okay. Obviously, I was not. Obviously, because I'm a friggin' guy, who I am, I'm not going to complain about the one that's just in, like, the monokini or whatever and everything like that. But I kind of thought it was cool. They classed her up a bit. They gave her, like, a cool little, like, weapon. They kind of did some stuff. It was neat. She didn't look like Frieza's brother. Cooler? Yeah, I guess she kind of did. I need to watch the Cooler movie. I actually haven't. I actually know little about Cooler. I mean, he's awesome looking. I can't deny that, but I've been kind of feeling like watching Dead Zone and stuff again. Every high-level play vid I see of MK is nothing but projectiles and that robotic animation. Look up tournament footage or pro footage of Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Look up footage of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. They got some pretty fun gimmicks and tricks there. And like any fighting game, it's kind of like watching Third Strike footage. You can kind of tell, okay, these are the characters who are broken. I think it's like Smoke. I think Reptile is one. I think he is. I could be off because there are some games where Reptile is genuinely like the worst character. I don't know if he's cooler than Frieza. Frieza's pretty cool in like a villainous bad guy kind of way. How is Dragon Ball Daima? People still enjoying it? I haven't heard as much about it, but I'm assuming no news is good news. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 has some cool stuff because it has infinite combo possibilities. But it also has like cool gimmicks with Rain, one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. This might be the most indignant face I have drawn. Majin SpongeBob and Magic Patrick. Okay, sir, you are selling me on this show. I should check it out. Everyone says it's very well done. I think we still have Crunchyroll. I've been kind of wanting to go back and watch some of the DBZ movies because I really, growing up, only ever watched Dead Zone, the Toonami trilogy. Dead Zone, Triomite, and World's Strongest. I remember liking World's Strongest. I think that's the one that I kept catching the most of. It's with Dr. What's his name? My opinion on Mortal Kombat is this. Oh, are they finally doing a Raleigh reference? Good. I had it back on reading Dr. Slump. That was fun. Well, lots to hopefully get back on track on in the new year. There. Stretch. Pardon me. It's going to be a weird day. I'm working one day tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow, and then I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm going to go back Thursday and Friday. I've already said, well, Thursday when those individuals come in, we're just hanging out and talking about Crimus. They're going to come in, we're going to talk about Crimus, and we're going to talk about, fun stuff. I'm not teaching anything that day. I ain't teaching shit. Work tomorrow, Christmas Eve. I hope Christmas Eve they let you out earlier. Oh, really? Well, how is it working? How is it working at a theater on Christmas? I'm very curious. I don't know if you've done it before. I hope it's a peaceful day. That's so weird to me going to see a movie on Christmas, but that's just me. I always thought it was weird when movies came out on Christmas Day. Work till 7:30. That's not the worst. That was like when I worked at Best Buy. Still. I hope it all goes quickly. Quickly and painless. I think I need to adjust her. Yeah, I'd imagine, especially with Nosferatu coming out. At any rate, I hope it's a peaceful day. I hope people are filled with actual, pleasant holiday spirit and not... I didn't have a good Christmas, so I'm gonna go out and make someone else mad. Reminds me when I always have to work New Year's Day. I'm sorry, man. Again, that's such a weird choice to me. I'm excited about Nosferatu, but releasing it on Christmas Day is such an odd thing to me. It's like when The Spirit came out, but that movie sucks, I heard. I went to see Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. I never saw any of those new Sherlock Holmes movies. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure for some people it's probably a nice, get up, open gifts, or do what your morning thing is. Maybe go have breakfast, go see a movie. I mean, I can see the appeal. It's just it's odd to me, but that's just me. I mean, my question is this, guys. Can someone confirm this for me? Because I think, I think I'm... Is there a Harley Quinn comic coming out on April Fool's Day that's just farting? Is that a real thing? When I read the news, I was really high. So I kind of was like, what's going on here? I'm still not sure if it's real in my head. There's a part of me that thinks they're not gonna. That's happening, huh? They wouldn't announce that. They wouldn't announce that the same week as the Superman trailer, would they? I'm like, I know they don't technically overlap, but I'm just kind of like, that's a real thing, huh? Oh yeah, well that's at least the benefit. I'm glad they give you time and a half. That's why I hope it's a smooth day, so you just get paid time and a half for nothing. It's so bizarre to me because I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when they were pitching that. Like, how did that conversation come up? Okay, we need to come up with a good April Fool's joke. Like, what can we think of? And there's this one guy who thinks, now's my time. Now's my chance. This is it. This is it. Either they accept this idea or I quit. Those are the only two options here. It's such a baffling choice, but it's also like, I feel like it's also just to make people who are really into Harley Quinn upset. I don't know if like it's so weird. I just remember looking it up because I saw it because Squeaks mentioned something about the Harley Quinn fart comic, and I'm like, is this like a DeviantArt thing? Like, I don't know. Why are they talking about it? You know? And I was like, morbid curiosity. Starting Logan. I mean, it seems like most people are just baffled for what it's worth. Well, the big talking thing I've heard is that this is an embarrassment and this is why people are reading manga instead. And my thing is like, yeah, it's a weird choice, and it definitely feels like, you know what it feels like? This feels like a leftover comic idea from the 90s. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's a sacrilege to the character or anything, because it's Harley Quinn. Like, you know, she's kind of a weird character anyway, so I'd imagine, you know, it's just, I just really wish I could have been a fly on the wall during this whole thing. Like, I would have just loved to have heard this conversation happen. Well, it's like, the big reason manga is more successful is that it's easier to read. There's your answer. Like, we've already, John, I think me and you have talked about, I think we've all talked about this.
This is a reminder. Quint shot.
Shauna, let me know if you need me to give the boys a shot.
This is a reminder.
Manga is nice. You know why people read manga? You go into the store and you go, I want to read this manga. Where do I start? Book 1. All right, cool. I mean, Bobobo had Gasser. Bobobo had an entire character. Frankie from One Piece. Doesn't he fart a lot? Isn't that Frankie's thing? Like, One Piece is just a menagerie of friggin' bizarre ideas. I will admit, though, that cover is like cover art is just like, man, somebody, like, right, like, I was saying, it's a weird day to be a Harley Quinn fan, I'm sure, because I'm sure there are a lot of people acting like, this is it, I'm finally seen, and then other people are like, I don't know how I feel about this. And I read the description. Well, yeah, and you have to go to a comic book store and deal with an asshole, probably. The guy who runs the local comic stop around here, I stopped going years ago because, you know, I didn't need to know what the comic book guy is in real life because the comic book guy is only funny when he's not a real person. But that's just me. I don't want to get too into it. But, yeah, you go into a Borders. I mean, Akira Toriyama loves to do poop jokes in general. I mean, in Dragon Ball, Master Roshi hid in the toilet. And then in the first World Tournament, didn't he have to fight, Bacterion or whatever his name is? Like, a guy whose whole gimmick was being disgusting and gross? So, I mean, like, let's not act like this is some sort of weird plot. Let's just act like this is some guy who thinks farting is really funny, and the idea of Harley Quinn doing it makes him laugh. So he said, yeah, go for it. Let's do this. It's bizarre. It's weird. I mean, and you know what? It's getting people talking. Can't deny that. I mean, whether or not that's good or not is beyond me. I mean, it's far away from anything I'm interested in, but I also just don't like... I also just never have been a big Harley Quinn fan. reading that whole description, though, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was really baked when I did it, and I was just kind of like, this is happening, huh? I don't even sell trades at bookstores. Nah, not anymore. You'll maybe find one, if you're lucky. Walmart and Target have manga volumes. Yep. I go to Target. Whenever we go to Target, I always have to peruse that section. Sure enough, right there. I'm going to make the sacrifice and go to my comic shop. Yeah. I mean, if you find it, not all comic shops are that way. If you find a good one, cherish it. You know? Do what you can to help keep that place in business within reason. Oh, yeah, that's right. You are correct. Yep, Barnes and Noble is probably like the last bastion next to what, Books A Million? BAM is one of my friends calls it, and it confused the hell out of me. I was like, BAM, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? I gotta get up real quick. Gotta stretch. I haven't been to a Barnes & Noble in a while. Should probably go again. Whenever you get the multiple spine pops, it's a good feeling. Makes you feel alive. The Babysitter's Club is still around. No one ever counts stuff like Dogman or Babysitter's Club in the Western comic sales or declining discourse. I mean, well, yeah, because children's books, you know, it's a fine line, I guess. BAM! That's the second time Emerald Lagasse has been referenced. Not tonight. Sorry, I gotta go grab a drink. I'll be right back. My last Seadray. How are y'all doing? Sound still good and all that? Oh, Jeff Smith? I pick it up and I feel like Bowen is out so Dark Knight at this point. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, Bowen exists in like its own world. You know, it does its own thing and it does it exceptionally well. Oh, what am I doing here? Ah, that's what that tool is. But no, we're going to use this. I mean, again, it's like, it's funny to me when people act like there's some sort of weird conspiracy plot with, like, manga outselling, and it's like, no, I mean, I definitely think... Well, and I think it's the same... And Comicsgate just ignores all logic at this point. As if there was ever a logic to it. I mean, ease of jumping in is probably the biggest thing that's going to sell your product in a story. And it's like, I understand it's hard with characters like Batman and stuff like that, or any of these superheroes, because it's like... But the problem with DC and a lot of these things is that, you know, they start these series and then they get unwieldy. Like, I know they just started, the Absolute series, and it sounds like people are enjoying them. You know, with Beefy Batman. With Super Beef... With Stump Beef Knob or Stump Beef Broth Batman. Slab Squat Thrust, Stump Beef Knob, Buff McDrinkslots, Splint Chest Hair. But again, Absolute Unit Batman, yeah. But again, the reason those books probably draw people in is because, oh good, a fresh start. I haven't actually seen the new Batmobile. I think he looks fine. I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of the logo, but I've seen people who do a slight variant on the logo and it looks better. And all they do is they just extend the wings just a little bit. Because I did not like it when people would draw it, it's just like a slightly curved rectangle. Some artists I've seen give it a little subtle extra bat-like wing motif to it. It makes it look a million times better, in my opinion. I mean, but yeah, he looks cool. Like, I gotta like figure out how I want to approach reading comics nowadays. I wouldn't mind checking it out. I mean, but yeah, again, it's like One Piece. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it can seem near impenetrable, but here's the thing: you can tell someone, hey, yeah, it's a lot to read, but you pick up book one and you just go from there. When superheroes get wide, when are we getting the Absolute Unit Wonder Woman is my question. That's how you'll get me back into comics, everybody. Not with farting. You gotta cater to my weird thing. I still just like, what a headline. Like, I think that's where I was like cracking up the most, is like, imagine being the person, we need you to summarize, hey, we need you to write an article on the new Harley Quinn comic. Oh, what's the deal with it? Well, here's the plot synopsis. I have to talk about this? Yep. Well, if you don't, you're fired. Well, I guess here I go. Such a bizarre thing. It's just so funny to me that this is like, yeah, this is an actual discussion that's happening. People are talking about this. Oh, and John, I'm going to be hopefully having some sketches to you. I've been working on the two. I saw that Destiny is kind of still cracking on hers, so I thankfully don't feel. I was like worried, like, boy, I hope I'm not like sleeping on a deadline. But I want to make sure that's done so we can fine tune it and get it looking as good as we want. But yeah, I have been kind of refining it, working with it with those two that you said you liked. I mean, I just like stylized artwork. Like, Humberto Ramos is not a very well thought of artist from my experience, but at least then again, I'm talking to people who like despise anything anime related or anything like not the norm. So he might be more well regarded, but like he always drew Venom in a way where Venom was just like this incredibly bizarre top heavy monstrosity, and it worked. I love like weird. I love it when artists are allowed to just get friggin' weird. It's why Tim Sale, who, you know, I was going on about with Superman for All Seasons, I know, Master Fran, you referred to it as Super Thumb or Thumb Man. But, like, I like it when people draw superheroes in, like, these almost cartoonishly, not grotesque ways, but, like, these exaggerated ways, you know? And I think that's what really would help sell things. I'd rather have Bat Thumb and Blue Jay. Yeah, there you go. Like, I would rather have a book look kind of weird at times and at least have kind of a unique and memorable art style instead of looking literally like everything else. Because I don't know, like they're like every artist is supposed to. Every artist has like their own unique quirks and traits, and I like to see those. Wonder Woman needs thick thighs, in my opinion. I mean, she's an Amazonian. Boy, Christmas, isn't that when seminal classic DC movie Wonder Woman 1984 came out? That movie I still think about sometimes. Like, if you want to, I'm excited. Look, Superman Legacy, sure, there's a possibility it might not. You know, it might goof up here and there. Who knows? It could be an unmitigated disaster. I don't know, though. I feel like it's going to have to try pretty hard to make me as angry as Wonder Woman 1984 did. What an awful movie. I remember after we watched it, just sitting here and just going like, what the hell? Like, I was like crusty. I was like crusty after we watched Worker and Parasite. What the hell was that? And it's like, that movie starts off not terrible. Like, don't get me wrong, the Amazonian Ninja Warrior tournament was kind of whatever. I mean, I think between all the different openings they had going on, I think the old-fashioned kind of Richard Donner Superman mall sequence was better. But then you also have that movie starts off like because then you have the whole weird thing with Kristen Wiig and Gal Gadot, or Kristen Wiig's Cheetah is kind of like there's some sexual obsession undertones there, and like you can say what you want about it, but I was like, that's interesting. I'm curious to see where this goes. And all it does is lead to Cheetah getting sidelined and just kind of looking like a punk, like, I don't know, like an angry punk rocker. And then we have an awful fight scene where it's so dark and so like, you know, don't get me wrong, King of the Monsters did this, but King of the Monsters at least like was coherent. I still remember when Wonder Woman had the whole golden armor, you know, wrapped up in newspaper in her apartment, and then she takes it and she flies, and Cheetah just rips it off of her in like what, less than 10 seconds? I don't recall it lasting very long. And I'm like, that movie is just so baffling, and I just don't understand why it happened the way it did. The best part of that movie was the Linda Carter cameo, which is the post-credit sequence, I think? And it's enjoyable because it's like, oh, thank God, Linda Carter's here. Linda Carter was actually just in a commercial with Ryan Reynolds. That was pretty funny. I've talked to people who hate on Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if the guy's just been kind of doing the same act. He's a good sport. He's not afraid to make fun of himself, and he helps out people. At least until something terrible comes out, I'm all right with him. Oh my God, though, Wonder Woman 84 was terrible, though. I wanted to be excited for it because I like the idea of a superhero movie taking place at that kind of particular time. Was already done with Captain Marvel, sure, but the 80s are a pretty fun time to do a superhero movie in. I'm more interested in that than I am the 90s, mostly because it's like, I lived through the 90s. The electric water scene, I mean, just a bad movie, and it's like, it irritated me because the first Wonder Woman's a pretty solid movie. Like, it's not anything, you know, groundbreaking, but it didn't need to be. It was like, hey, like, I remember leaving. Well, exactly. It's news. I mean, here's the thing: Superman Legacy already had me with Crypto, but then it's like I was reminded, oh yeah, Mr. Terrific's gonna be in it. Oh yeah, Guy Gardner's gonna be in it, and Hawkgirl. And it's like, it looks like Superman's gonna fight like a kaiju, or at least a giant monster of some sorts. Hell yeah. Like, that looks like the Superman movie. Again, I went on a whole thing on Blue Sky about it, but it's like, everyone kind of rails on Man of Steel for being the worst super movie, and I'm sorry, no. At least I remember Man of Steel. At least I remember that movie. You know a movie I hate ever remembering? Superman Returns. And that movie's a shame because Brandon Routh got screwed, Routh, however you pronounce his name. He got screwed over more than Henry Cavill. I'm sorry. Like, he looked like Christopher Reeve. He was great for the part. Like, he looked good in the costume. And what's the movie about? It's just kind of Superman slowly... It's just kind of Superman lifting heavier things throughout the movie and being, like, weird. Superman, like, at least when I left Man of Steel, sure, it was probably just the rush of seeing a Superman movie that didn't end with, Lex Luthor doing another land development scheme or something. But, like I said, Man of Steel, I didn't hate it, but it did not last. It did not live up. It didn't do well. Well, yeah, I mean, the whole Starro fight. Classic. Like James Gunn at least understands that, with a superhero movie, you can get weird and wild. I hope... Man, if we see Superman have to deal with a bunch of mechanical monsters, I will lose my shit in the theater. I love those Fleischer shorts. I mean, that movie just looks like, oh god, a Superman movie that remembers, hey, Superman can actually deal with things outside of, like... Superman can do things... Because you can have Superman fight things. Yeah, Superman Returns is arguably one of the worst friggin' movies. Like, it's just infuriating. And it's like every moment that seems like it's not bad, here's the biggest thing, since we can loop this back around to the new Sonic movie. James Marsden's character in that movie did more than I think Superman did. Or at least he did more heroic-seeming stuff. Like, this man doesn't have superpowers, this man doesn't have anything, but he's gonna fly a biplane towards... Lex Luthor's... Hey, Swiggy, how you doing tonight? Towards Lex Luthor's weird alien, like, fortress. And what's Superman doing? Oh, Superman stuff, I guess. I hated it. And I felt really bad for Brandon Routh because I hear he's good in Legends of Tomorrow, but I never got into any of the, I never got into any of the DC, like... CW shows. I did start watching The Flash once upon a time, but I kind of lost interest in it. That's just because I'm terrible at watching shows. But I did like how it seemed like an American tokusatsu show. Like it had some of that DNA in it. Yes, we're doing some art. Or something like it. What I at least like to consider art. But yeah, like, I think that's what baffles me about a lot of these things. I feel like a lot of these superhero directors need to be sort of dragged back and told, hey, keep it simple, stupid. I'm not saying you can't take big swings, but I'm saying to myself, you have to look at the character we're talking about here, and you have to kind of think, hey, and this isn't me going into the whole, like, you have to make sure this movie's fanboy approved, but more so, let's look at things and go... Let's look at things... Oh no, did the stickers not show up? Do I not have the stickers on? That's why I made them free. I should start doing the stickers again. I'm sorry, sweetie. Did I miss it? I'll have to look at my Discord set. Oh no! Oh, I think... Hold on. I think I had it all the way towards the back. Let me put it up there. Unless I'm missing it and I'm blind. Entirely possible. I mean, yeah, well... There's a particular moment in the first Spider-Man movie that I consider essentially one of the most tokusatsu things imaginable. And I love it. It's in the first Spider-Man, this first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. And it's when the Goblin attacks, it's when the Green Goblin attacks the parade. And there's that scene where Spider-Man Goblin like lowers himself down, and Spider-Man does like a gratuitous like back flip, like a back somersault, punches upwards into his thing, and there's that great shot of him running, and you get that nice glamorous shot of the Green Goblin's behind as he fires machine guns, and it's like it's shot so perfectly, and it just has this like all you're missing are the gratuitous like sparks. to really bring that home to like tokusatsu levels. And ironically enough, I feel like, I mean, I can't confirm or deny this, but there's that particular moment in Shin Ultraman that I feel is like a very, very close cinematic parallel to the first Raimi Spider-Man, and that's where Ultraman, I'm not going to ruin it for anyone who might not have seen it. You should watch Shin Ultraman, by the way. It's great. Like, no prior knowledge of Ultraman required. It's a very enjoyable movie. I highly recommend it. It was my personal favorite of the Shin movies. But yeah, like, you know, tokusatsu stuff has such particular movement and flow to its action that's makes it memorable. Like Kamen Rider Kiva, I still have to finish it, but there are so many fights that I can still remember in my head because of just how well the action was shot. Like, you're getting like these cool kind of long shots, no quick cuts or anything like that, of a guy of Kamen Rider Kiva running at an enemy, jumping in the air and like doing like 3 punches before he hits the ground again, and you're seeing the monster like lurch back. And it's all that body language that really sells it. That is what I would love to see more of. Yeah, Shin Ultraman's my favorite. I do need to watch that different cut. I do need to watch the director's cut or whatever it's being called for Shin Kamen Rider. I definitely would like to see. I've lightened up my opinion on the movie. And I will say, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that out of those 3 franchises, Godzilla, between like Ultraman and Kamen Rider, I am more familiar with Ultraman. So, to me, a lot of the kind of like, you know, more like Henshin John, I know, you for example, really enjoyed Shin Kamen Rider. I know for you, I just feel like, yeah, obviously it's one of those things. Like, if you're more invested in these characters or this concept, you're probably going to get more out of it. I didn't think the movie was bad. It's just you could tell there were some issues there. I mean, I think I think the opening of Shin Kamen Rider is one of the coolest things ever. If that's any consolation, I think the entire fight, like the entire sequence leading up to Spider-Og like getting defeated, because I like that fight. I thought that part was great. I love that. I love when I like when the Shocker agents surround Kamen Rider and they have him, and then the theme kicks in. That real intense "Let's Go," the real intense like "Let's Go" remix or whatever it's called, because I have it on my YouTube. And you just see him just friggin' clobbering and decimating Shocker agents. It's cool as hell, and I like when it does that great shot of him and Spider-Og standing by the lake. It's cool, and I like. My interest in that movie sadly starts to sort of wane right around the time we do Waspog. Because I think that's when some of the camera stuff starts to really, or like I think that's when some of the camera stuff starts to bother me. Like, there are just some sequences I feel were too dark. But that's why I'm curious to see, like, you know, maybe it'll improve. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. Like, I've seen people who, I remember when it came out, I've seen people who hated it, and I was like, oh no, I think it's fine. And I was like, I don't think it's like, oh god, he botched the entire trilogy. It's like, no, he made three very good, varying qualities depending on what you're into. Because I know people who can, I mean, I think Shin Godzilla is the most consistently agreed upon best one. And it's good, don't get me wrong, I love Shin Godzilla. But I also like Shin Ultraman because it's a little more hopeful than Shin Godzilla. Whereas Shin Godzilla fills me with a sense like that. The final shot of Shin Godzilla, fucking terrifying. One of the most unsettling final shots in a movie I can remember in recent, like I can think of in recent memory, where you're just kind of like, oh damn, that's not good. Oh no, we don't want that. that's terrible. Oh, a buddy of mine, my buddy Eric, finally watched -1. Not a big kaiju guy, not a big Godzilla guy, but he liked it. So I think I'm going to try... I mean, it's more so that and the realization, wait a minute, there's another form here? Wait a minute, that's what it's... When it just does that reveal of what the tail looks like, you're kind of like, oh, oh, shit. Like, great reveal, great cosmic unknowable horror, in my opinion. Like, very cool stuff. Pardon my... I think I'm getting a little bit of a cold, too. But yeah, Shin Godzilla was good. Like, all three of the movies were worth seeing. It's just like, and of course my biggest, like, bugaboo with, if that's even the term, with Shin Kamen Rider is just that it's the motorcycle scene just kind of was a big letdown, and I know there's a reason for that, so I really want to see the scene, like, at least a little better. And I mean, it was really just the lighting that drove me nuts. Like, you know? Because the sequence was cool. Like, I thought all the stuff I was seeing, I was like, oh yeah, this is rad as hell. I just wish I could see it better. And it's like, I think after, because I thought the fight between the two Kamen Riders was pretty well done. That was fun. It felt appropriate. Chameleon Og was pretty cool. I thought that was fine. And the final battle I thought was great. Like, I thought that was really emotional and really well done. Welcome back, John. I had to switch it up, but this is kind of the sketch. I'm going to hopefully ink it at some point along with a couple other things. Yeah, he's going to be carrying that backboard. That's his trophy. Welcome back. I hope all is well. I'm just drunkenly rambling about movies like I do. Ah, my pleasure. I got a lot of stuff I need to draw for people. Okay. I mean, they should totally make Wonder Woman a tokusatsu heroine. I mean, she pretty much already was in the original Wonder Woman series. She had a henshin. She had a theme song. I mean, if you took that, he was great. Like, that's why, like, because didn't they confirm we are getting a Shin Kamen Rider 2 and it's going to focus on him? Oh yeah, because I was so worried about him. I did not want to see him. I was so worried about him. Like, oh god, please don't die. He's so cool. I had a little bit of a man crush for him, and I guess I was like, man, he's beautiful. I loved his personality in that movie. That whole exchange between him and the agents at the end was great. Third drawing, man, you're a machine. I want to see Wonder Woman do the small to big size fights. I bet you do, you perv. I totally do, too. I just think it'd be funny, though. If it was just a giant Wonder Woman fighting Giganta or something. Every week, Giganta comes back for the same fight. Yeah, like, Shin Kamen Rider was overall good. 20 drawings, jeez. Alright. God, everyone's been doing nice gifts for everyone. Okay. Yeah, like, I remember there being discussion about it, and I was like, I'd love to see him go for it again. Like, while I wasn't wowed about it, I would like to see more of Ano doing Kamen Rider, I'm totally down for it. Well, she's gonna be very upset that you're not the you're not the Krampus. I was sketching. Oh, I'm gonna hit over 30 before Christmas. You crazy kids and your stamina. I drink to you, my friend. I gotta get focused, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the end of the year. Like, I'm actually trying to write out like a schedule. Asta, I think you got a big you got game. I know you're hard on yourself, but like your sprite work is next level. Like, you do sprite animations, you got a cool as hell sounding game in the works. You do all these wonderful, like your watercolor piece that you did as like a warm up was really, really good. Like, I need to step up my game and actually start doing traditional art. That's my biggest problem that everyone like is making me realize, man, I bought watercolors and I haven't even touched them. Yeah, like I've been digging into digital. Does Luna still believe in Santa? I like to think in her world Santa's real. Maybe it's maybe like there's like maybe it's a Santa situation like Kanish Kringle from Chowder, and instead of Santa, there's some sort of other weirder thing. Well, yeah, well, it's the end of the year. I figure, we're all kind of. 2024 has been a bizarre year. I don't think anyone would argue with that, right? I think we can all kind of agree that 2024 has been a pretty, like, weird year. Like, I don't know. I can't say it was bad. I mean, my friend did sadly pass away from cancer finally, but I think there's a certain peace to knowing that he's no more pain, And it's hard, though, for me still sometimes, because like the last thing that guy texted me was asking me if I was okay. Because I was dealing with shit in the band I was in. And it's like, man, this is a tragic thing to witness, I'm sure anyone who's had to witness anybody go through that kind of illness, it's terrible. But, we adopted the stray dog that ended up, Archie. Not good, huh? Yeah, like it just seems like 2024 has been like this weird. Has been like just this weird seesaw. Like something cool will happen, and then something bad will happen that kind of just brings you back down. Well, that's why I'm hoping we're all just kind of getting this out of our systems now. We're all kind of just going. We're all kind of kicking towards the finish line, and with 2025. We're all going to kind of hit the ground running. And just kind of go for it. Because, yeah, I've been up and down. People ask them, okay, when I mean, I'm sorry to hear, though. Like, yeah, I get it. Mental health has been terrible. I mean, I ain't fighting anybody. At this point, I'm just trying to survive. I'm 37 years old. At this stage of my life, I'm not saying I'm going to be wholly, like, ignorant of things, but the gauntlet of 2020 to 2024 broke me down and changed me in ways that I don't know if I want to say are good or bad. I've become more of a hermit despite me doing the streaming thing. The reason I do the streaming thing is because I feel safe in a weird way, because this is my show. This is my stream. I appreciate everyone being here. I get to talk. I get to do my thing. People seem to like what I'm doing. I've been very grateful for stuff like this. Like, I would say these are kind of the things. And yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to use your age as a motivator, as long as you're not overdoing it. Like, I think that's kind of the trick, like with anything. Moderation is key. Well, just because I see people like, God, I knew a guy who was in his, like, mid-20s and he thought he'd have his life completely figured out, he'd have kids by now and everything that, and he'd have a house, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, so did I. I have a couple degrees to my name, and look at me. Man, my job did finally get better this year. That's been probably the biggest thing for me. I can't say 2024 entirely sucked because my job stress is, after dealing with how awful working in the social work field was from COVID onward, just with the way it affected our individuals on a mental level, it affected them on a physical level. We got to see the healthcare system for how broken and obnoxious it is. A lot of our individuals didn't even get healthcare treatment because, oh, they can't wear masks, which I understand to an extent, but what do you do with individuals who genuinely cannot wear them? Like, there's a lot of layers here. Is this where we're kind of at? I could go on and on about that. But, like, yeah, it's like there's a lot has happened over the last years, and I really think I want to make the last half of this decade better. I want everyone to make it better. I feel you though, man. It's like it's as much as I can't say it sucked because I had high points like adopting Archie and stuff like that. It's definitely like, left its marks. Again, I feel like I've been kind of like colder in a way, like I've been a little more kept to myself in regards to things, but yeah, it's kind of a self-defense thing at this point, kind of self-preservation taking over a little bit. Because that was kind of the thing that broke me about 2020, not to get too personal into it, but like, yeah, it was kind of like the thing that broke me about 2020 is that I'm one of those, I'm one of those hopeful, optimistic idiots. I like to think that something will happen that'll reunite people. And, I kind of was hoping COVID would be it. I was kind of hoping that might start to cause people to be nicer to each other. Maybe we'd kind of start putting things like, beyond politics. And no, I think it actually got worse. I think it actually got significantly worse. And it broke a lot of people to the point where friend groups have completely fallen apart. Families have broken apart. Like, it's bad, man. I was hopeful for a unification of sorts, like everyone kind of coming together. Ah, man, that shit broke me. Well, especially as someone who works in social work, by the way, because I'm seeing like all these awful things happen, and it's very much everyone kind of doing things for themselves. At least that was my observation. Yeah, it's gonna be a while, 4 years, but I think, hey, it sounds corny, but at least we got each other, right? We ain't alone anymore. we got stuff going on. We got stuff happening. John, Shadow Man. I know me and anyone else. I don't know. Yeah, everyone here, but we got All Monsters Attack to look forward to. I think that's gonna. And USA, I believe you said you were gonna try and make it as well. So we got that's kind of a high point. May is looking to be the month I'm hoping to make the absolute best out of. So there's stuff to look forward to, and it's like you kind of gotta like dig your claws into that and kind of hold on to that and be like, hold on, there are good things on the horizon. We can make this happen. I will be doing my absolute damnedest to make AMA a fun experience for everybody. Well, that's really the key. That's kind of the big breakdown I had to go through this year, where, in the last couple of years with all the tragedies and stuff, like I kind of hit like a rock bottom state of mind where it's like you do have to just kind of accept that you can't change circumstances for the most part. You have to just kind of try and make them. I don't know what the line is, but there's no fate but what we make, I guess. I think it's a Terminator line, but I don't know if it's very good. But like, it sucks. It sucks. World's kind of on fire. But, there's high points. New Ninja Gaiden game looks pretty awesome. Helldivers 2 is still fun. World should be a sane person knows. Yeah. Well, and I think there's like, that's another one of those things where I think there's a fine line between things where it's like, yeah, there's a fine line between acceptance and defiance when it comes to that. Like, I'm always going to be mad at the way things work. Again, I say this as someone who got into a line of work that is all about helping people, supporting a population that is often underserved, and we've had to struggle, and we still have to struggle to get money and stuff just to kind of make these agencies kind of work. Despite the fact the developmentally disabled population it's a huge population. It deserves support. It deserves servicing. It deserves like all the same privileges and rights that all these other population, like, demographics get. And it's like our own government we have to like fight with. Not that I want to get super political, because I'm not the most politically minded person. But yeah, it's just kind of making peace with things and sort of just finding those places you can find the places you can do good. Like, it means a lot to me when I have people telling me like, "Oh, your artwork is something I like to log on and see." It's like, at least I can say, "Hey, that's a little something I can do to make someone's day brighter." And I'm not trying to pull like a whole like influencer thing, because I'm sure I've done dumb stuff too. But it's like, man, the world's in a messed up place. Yeah, exactly. As much as it's a meme, society, huh? Society. And not the weird Brian Yuzna movie that ends with, it's like a slow burn. It's a slow, kind of boring mess that ends up with one of the grossest special effects spectacles possible. But yeah, as far as like some things I have planned, I'm actually trying to write out a schedule now of streaming ideas, because I think me and my friends Eric and Mike might be doing a little podcast. Nothing big. It's literally going to be one of those like, three friends talk about, or 3, 4, because Shauna might join in too, like when she wants to. That's why I'm like, 3 friends talk about movies. So it's going to just be one of those like little like, hey, because Friday night we hung out and we ended up going on this whole 2-hour-long discussion just about random films and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, yeah, you know what? There's some interesting stuff here that someone might get something out of. Maybe they'll want to listen to it. And if they don't, oh well. Not expecting to be like a big podcast thing, but I figure another little side project would be fun. Boys are called family. It's to the real question: should the song Godzilla exist in a setting with real giant monsters? That's a tough call. Well, because I guess you have to consider like what is media like, because giant monsters I feel like will always be. Because like giant monsters will always exist. So I guess the question, like, every culture has like a giant monster in it, when did the giant monsters come into play? Because that song was done in what, probably 80? I don't know when that album came out. That is probably one of my least favorite Blue Oyster Cult songs. I know it's a classic. And I actually love the Serj Tankian version from King of the Monsters a ton. But man, like, Blue Oyster Cult is another one of those bands like Deep Purple where I'm like, oh my god, they have so many better songs than their radio hits. You gotta branch out. The entire Fire of Unknown Origin album is fantastic from start to finish. Each song just a banger. Dr. Roxo, man, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I do return to the Death album often, though. Mermaider 2, The Water God, is typically a song I listen to when I'm feeling kind of down. Because it kind of lights a fire under my ass to like start like picking myself up. I guess the question is, do you also go the route of making like a Blue Oyster Cult parody? Nah. I don't think the lipstick works for her. I think I made her mouth a little too grotesque. She's got this weird mouth going. I know one of the podcast ideas a buddy of mine really wanted to do We wanted to go and review each individual episode of Duckman. I just want to watch Duckman again at this point because it's a fascinating show to look back on as an adult. Duckman is a genuinely like bizarre show to return to because it is what it is on the surface for the most part. You know, there's lots of that kind of particular humor, but then it's like like more things kind of. It's like a lot of shows you return to, but with Duckman was kind of meant to be an adult cartoon to begin with. Boy, it's... Oh, it went with Arial. I'm like, boy, that font looks like garbage. I might as well do Times New Roman. Wait. What's the text you're not supposed to use? What's the faux pas? See, I made the mistake. I didn't plan to put dialogue bubbles here, so I have to kind of deal with it. Comic Sans, that was it. I know I'm in a group with a bunch of artists because everyone immediately just... I just imagined all three of you said that at the same time. Comic Sans. I think the usage of papyrus has... I think the usage of papyrus has kind of changed because now everyone just thinks of a certain lovable skeleton. Wingdings! What's mind blowing to you, my friend? Tell me. See if you can blow my mind. It's a new segment. You're not going to pull like a Beekman's World on me, are you? Helvetica Standard. Helvetica Standard is not a good one either. There's a lot of like fonts that are kind of faux pas. Like if you're trying to look professional, brother, this ain't it. Did I lose where I put my... Those skeletons are a parody of webcomics called Helvetica about skeleton characters navigating the afterlife. That's, you know what? That sounds about right. Toby Fox seems like a weird fella who'd probably see something like that. I was thinking about Undertale because I'm doing the YouTube channel now too. It's been alright. I've been getting some subscribers. I mean, it's kind of cool. There it is. But I've been finding, hey, you have a good night, Captain. And yes, Merry Christmas to you and to all at your home. And we will, I'll see you when I see you. You have a good night, my friend. Oh, here, I posted it on... I should... See, did I tell you about the incident I had with Nightbot? Oh, I'll get it. I was trying to use Nightbot because because I've seen other people use it, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's a good way to, like, share what I'm doing. And what ended up happening... Jacob came in and just excitedly said, "Snow!" Like, just being Jacob's delightful self. Nightbot friggin' like silenced him, and I was like, whoa. Absolutely not. So I need to find an alternative, or I need to, like, rein in Nightbot or whatever. There it is. Vandy Streams. It's the same as the Twitch, except I'm, like, actually trying to, like, upload clips and stuff there. I cannot, for the life of me, get a grasp on how YouTube Shorts works. I still got to figure that out. But it's a buddy of mine pointed out, well, because I never did YouTube. I chose Twitch because it's what everyone I knew was on. And I never went with you, and it's like I know some people on YouTube, like John. I know you predominantly do all your streaming and stuff on YouTube, and I hear YouTube has really good service. You know, they got some pretty cool features and services on their stuff. Well, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah, kind of. YouTube Shorts is simple as an uploading a video. It's 60 seconds. You don't even need to be vertical. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, it's funny because I can't figure out how I did it. So I uploaded one of my I think the Resident Evil, the Nemesis. I think the Resident Evil streams have probably been. Yes, I am streaming simultaneously. I found a plugin for OBS. Unless it didn't stay up, it should have. But I thought I had it going where I was live. Yeah, I should be live on there. Well, because somehow I was able to upload one of my Resident Evil clips, and I think because I downloaded it the right way, I probably need to look into that. And it was great because it didn't cut anything off. Because I like people to see everything, because I don't like the zoomed-in concept of shorts. I hate it, actually. Alright. So how did this turn out? Oh, wait, hold on. I see a problem already. Hey, where did my layers go? Where did my layers go? There they are. Yeah, streaming, as long as you don't have an exclusivity deal, you can apparently stream. They might be weird about showing only the Twitch chat. I don't know how that works, but I haven't been flagged down. The only flag I have gotten on anything is when I showed that I think you should leave skit. And that's because obviously I was playing like copywritten material. And obviously if I was going to be doing, because someone asked me about doing this, and I guess I could, but I'm also like, I don't even know if I'd want to sit through that though, because I'm bad at watching movies. So like playing one of the movies you can get on, because you have Prime. I mean, the only things that I gotta play more horror games, because those were the high points, I think, of my entire streams this year. Oh yeah, I just go on Twitch. Like, I make a note of something that was funny, and I just kind of go back and... Twitch makes it pretty easy to thankfully cut clips. I will say that. Because I don't want to put anyone on that duty. I would feel like such a knob if I did that. Can you, like, Alright, guys. I need everybody to make sure to be always on the lookout for new clips. Like, I'm not going to be on... I want everybody in this server, everyone here, a bunch of freeloaders. I demand, even if it's not funny, I demand clips. Like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a DSP about it. I should find that clip, though, where I was talking to my buddy Mike about DSP. And he never heard of him, and my immediate response was, do you know about Dark Side Phil, Mike? He's like, no, good, let's keep it that way. I'm sharing a platform with DSP right now, as you know when you think about it. I had to stop following what DSP was up to for my own mental health. Seems like he's continuing to circle the drain. Like, I poked my head in one day recently, and I was like, yep, still circling the drain as far as his sanity goes, so business as usual. I do need to clip my toenails, you are correct. Oh, yeah. Shauna doesn't like this joke, but I remember one that I always made was like, wouldn't it be messed up in the future if, like, you know how in Fallout bottle caps are, like, you know, your currency? Wouldn't it be messed up if in the future, like in a future setting, toenail clippings and fingernail clippings were your currency? Like, wouldn't that be weird? That'd be weird. I think that would be weird. What about you guys? Y'all think that would be strange? Is that all real monsters? Is that how they do it? I was thinking about real monsters not too long ago. The golden nails were the real moneymakers. I guess maybe that's where I got it from now that I think about it. I mean, that makes perfect sense for that show. Speaking of which, I guess I'm carving out my niche on Blue Sky as being the Doug Defender. The Doug Fender. I don't understand why it is necessary to explain to kids what the appeal of Doug is. I don't understand why that's a thing. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, well, it was like a family, it was like a low-key sort of comfort show in between Rugrats and, like, Ren and Stimpy, so it was kind of like a nice sort of, like, little bit. It boosted those shows because it showed us something more mundane, but it was still weird. Again, Doug was the precursor to Hey Arnold. You know? Like, Hey Arnold definitely went wackier with it, but Doug had its moments. Like, I love that show. I once had somebody tell the use it's the Diary, but I think it's better than Diary of a Wimpy Kid because there's so much more creativity to it. Like, Diary of a Wimpy Kid is what it is. I actually liked those books for a period of time. The Diary of the Wimpy Kid book, I think it's like the first one that talks about how Shel Silverstein is a terrifying human being to look at. True. Look up a Shel Silverstein. Yes, Shel Silverstein, the writer of such iconic joke books, or iconic writings such as Where the Sidewalk Ends and Falling Up, I believe. I'm kind of blanking on some of the names. But you ever see and also the writer of the song A Boy Named Sue. He wrote that song. Johnny Cash sung it. I remember explaining that to someone, and then it's like, yeah, it makes perfect sense when you realize that, doesn't it? But it's like I saw someone, like, I was talking about Doug with someone, and they're like, well, Doug is just a wiener and a beta cuck. And I'm like, he's 10. I'm like sitting there like, how harsh are you on this kid? So was Doug. I mean, so was Arnold. Arnold was a bit of a beta. Arnold was a bit of a beta. Rocco was a bit of a beta. Beta characters were kind of a constant thing in the 90s. Most cartoons featured betas, as the kids call them. And someone said Doug is the safest, blandest thing. And I'm like, I remember the Doug Christmas special. It was upsetting at a point. His dog was going to be put down. And I remember BB's dad saying how dogs don't even know what money is. Therefore, it was like, dogs don't know what money is. Therefore, they are useless and expendable. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Mad Hulk featured Gammas. It certainly did with She-Hulk, am I right? I mean, not everyone could be Sonic. Well, that's what made Sonic the Hedgehog such a standout. He had Toad. He had that Alpha Chad Toad. I was just like, it was so weird. I also saw someone say that Doug is an incel, and I'm like, I never got that vibe from him. He never seemed like he hated women. Like, where are you guys getting this from? Again, I don't know why I talk about Doug as much as I do. It's because it's a good show. It was a fun show. I have a lot of fond memories of watching Doug, and it's like as a socially awkward kid who escaped into his imagination and drawing and all that, Doug was kind of like our guy. You know, like Doug was like, yeah, kind of a dorky, he's a bit of a dorky, like, 10-year-old who loves to draw, loves superheroes and stuff like that. That's what I was missing. She needs her tail and stuff. She needs that fat ass in her tail. 60s Peter Parker. That's true. 60s Peter Parker. I don't know where he falls on the spectrum. He is just 60s Peter Parker. Like a lot of things, is just kind of like, yep, that's just how he is. It was like the episode where he was afraid of the kid, the horror movie, and he has that fantasy where Skeeter friggin' dies. And you had some fun parodies. You had Clotzilla. You had some fun pop culture references like Smash Adams. There was their James Bond, and who was the Indiana Jones parody? Yeah. They're internally threatening to murder Flash. That sounds about right. Oh yeah. Well, that's why Steve Ditko, famously not a fan of making Norman Osborn into the villain. Here's the thing, though. I think objectivism is dumb. But you know what? I gotta give credit to Ditko. He is one of the few people I can think of who actually, like, for better or worse, stuck by his morals. Or, like, his own... Like, when he died in squalor, sadly. Like, and he had all sorts of checks from Marvel that he refused. Like, I'm not going to say it was an intelligent choice, but you know what? He believed in what he believed in, and he actually held firm on it. I'm not saying it's good, because I know the guy became a weirdo recluse, but I think that's the only time Skeeter died in a dream. And to be fair, it wasn't a fantasy; it was a nightmare he had, because he wakes up in bed panicking. I remember one time. It was because of Doug. I even knew what the hell an ocarina was, because Skeeter played the ocarina at the school talent show, and Doug was being a ventriloquist actor, and he was terrible at it. By the way, Doug was a terrible ventriloquist. Doug funny, awful ventriloquist. The funniest thing is, like, I went on my little Doug rant yesterday, and someone said, like, well, I think they're thinking more of Disney's Doug. People who are fans of Doug don't think about Disney's Doug. That's not fair. Like, we don't claim that. Excuse me, we don't claim Disney's Doug. We all think it's actually garbage. No, I think it was a nightmare, Phil. I think he had a nightmare because the abnormal was after him. And it says the most terrifying cosmic horror related thing I can think of. And it's like the most, maybe not cosmic horror, but there's a particular line in that episode that always stuck with me. And it's when, he's having the nightmare where, Skeeter's bike comes alive and the handlebars turn into arms, like out of something like Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, because the episode was actually called, like, Nightmare on Jumbo Street or something like that. But it grabs Skeeter and rides off a ravine. And then, the traffic light hanging up suddenly, like, its cables break. It's like maximum overdrive or something. And the monster says, as a traffic light, you know what the scariest thing about me is, kid? You don't even know what I actually look like. And I thought about that. I still think about that sometimes. Like, yeah, that's like one of the core concepts of horror that you don't see enough nowadays. Again, that is part of the reason Jaws is one of the most iconic movies of all time. Sure, it's a shark, but it's always just out of view. You don't get a good look at the shark until much later, and it's terrifying up until then. It's still terrifying after that. Constant Spider-Man was the Wolverine of his time, a slow, loner, slightly outlaw, borderline. Yeah, I can see that. I actually have not read a whole lot of 60s Spider-Man. Maybe I'll have to check that out one of these days. Spider-Man was kind of an edgelord. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, because I didn't really get into Spider-Man until the 90s, obviously, because I was a 90s kid. And I never really went back and watched the 60s Spider-Man until later. Just because I love the theme song and stuff. If I'm talking too much about anything, just let me know. I hope I'm not coming off as like I'm ranting. It's just more so like, nah, this is good. I'm getting it out of my system before I go to work. Well, because I did one of the first gifts Shauna got me when we started hanging out. Like, I think Shauna, this might have been, well, because we started dating pretty early on, but you got me the Essentials. The first, original Essentials volume for Spider-Man. And that was, I remember reading a lot of that, and it was so quaint in a great way. Like how he defeated Sandman, I think, with a vacuum cleaner. First time he fought, came into it. You know who writes shitty paragraphs that I friggin' hate? Brian Michael Bendis. Good idea, man, for the most part, I guess. Like, it depends. I haven't kept up with anything he's read. I remember a guy getting real angry at me because I just don't... Brian Michael Bendis, I hate the way he makes people talk. Like, he's trying to, do, I liked Ultimate Spider-Man, but sometimes the way he wrote Peter Parker was he wrote him like Corey Matthews from Boy Meets World. And that could kind of work, But he would just write these really dumb things. Like, Spider-Man would always be saying, woof. Like, you know, and, oh, my tushy. Like, he would just... But then, I remember reading another Brian Michael Bendis thing, and this is like adult Spider-Man, and he's talking the same exact way. I'm not a Brian Michael Bendis fan. I never have been. Like, I enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man for what it was, predominantly because of Bagley's artwork and stuff like that. And there were some fun ideas outside of the way he ruined Deadpool in that, I think. But I don't know. Bendis just has a way of writing I was not a fan of, and I was told I'm dumb because, like, well, why do you hate it when comics have a lot of words? You know, comics are made up of words. I mean, to me, the true beauty of comic books is the fact that it's both the written word and artwork telling a story together. I don't like reading 8 layered word bubbles in a single panel that's trying to just be like Joss Whedon style dialogue, you know? I'm glad, okay? I'm glad my bizarre... I took care of that guy that could have voted, then I have Jaws. Jaws 4 is where he roared like a tiger. That would be Jaws 4, The Revenge. Starring Michael Caine. He dates Mrs. Brody, Ellen Brody. Also features Mario Van Peebles. Mario Van Peebles, it's an interesting case where, depending on the cut of the movie, his character either lives or dies. He gets got by the shark, but depending on things, he either surfaces somehow afterwards, just kind of injured, which I like, because his character was pretty likable. Jaws the Revenge is not a good movie, but it's like, it bought Michael Caine a nice house from what I hear. He's never seen the movie, and I wonder how true that is, but I don't blame him. Oh, Lance Guest, the last Starfighter, is the hero. He is Michael Brody, even though they kill off one of the other Brody kids right in the beginning. The shark pushes a buoy to the right position so it can get him when he's trying to fix it. See, I think the biggest missed opportunity there was the fact that they didn't go with the Jaws the Revenge novel plot where it was actually a voodoo curse. It was a voodoo curse by a voodoo guy who wished revenge on the Brodies, so the shark, chases them, and that's why it's insane. Jaws 19, shark still looks fake. Rocky vs. Jaws. I saw an artist once do a really cool painting of Rocky vs. Jaws that was pretty cool. Nah, we should watch Great White, L'Ultimo Swallow. I believe is how it goes. That's the Bruno Mattei with Vic Morrow as their Quint. Riff Tracks. It's called The Last Shark. And it's the most blatant Jaws ripoff, and it's all about a windsurfing regatta. Worst killer shark, only killed 2 people. It's Jaws, not even the shark's name. No, Jaws is just a pseudonym he goes by. Any relation to The Last Unicorn? I've never actually seen The Last Unicorn. That is one of Shauna's favorite movies that we have yet to watch together. We should do that soon. Featuring music by America. No, The Last Shark, for whatever reason. I mean, when you think about it, The Last Shark really kind of implies something kind of deep, that this shark was literally the last shark. I did not see The Last Dinosaur because, man, I did not like anything I saw about that movie. That's the Pixar one, right? I don't know, it just doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. I hear there's a scene where, some cute little animal gets, ripped apart by a bunch of, little... And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm alright. I think that was after Up. And Up kind of lost a lot of my interest in Pixar movies, because I went into that movie hoping to see Ed Asner and some fat kid go on an adventure with a silly dog, and that movie opened up with me getting punched in the gut, and then it punched me in the gut again halfway through. Good Dinosaur, Last Time. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Last Dinosaur. Hold on. Okay, you're right. Good Dinosaur is the Pixar one. Last Dinosaur. Oh my god, it's right on the... I'm remembering it. Oh my god. Who is in The Last Dinosaur? Really? I'm surprised I had not... No, I don't think I've seen this. A Rankin Bass Subaraya production? Yeah, Okay, yeah, I'm into this. I am definitely curious about this movie now. That is for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna draw a little Bumble. I haven't drawn Bumble yet. Since we're talking about Rankin Bass. Huh. No, never seen it. I love Bumble. Bumble falls in the same category as a lot of things that terrified the hell out of me as a kid, but ended up becoming my favorite thing as I grew up. That line, I think it's great that line became such a meme, because it did make me think, what the hell do you do at elf practice? What the hell is elf practice about? Do we practice building toys? Do we, like, you practice being jolly? Bumble versus the T-Rex. I gotta watch it first. I will see about this. Yeah, I've never actually seen The Last Dinosaur. You practice hating dwarves, of course. Okay, this is taking a dark turn. This is the enemy. You can tell them by their large, bushy beards. They often smell of mines and alcohol. Upon seeing one, practice these martial arts moves I will teach you. Getting into like a Rex Kwon Do scenario. Chef Bumble getting yelled at. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can cobble together. I do want to do a big request stream. Because I want to try and do like live draws. I want to do a lot of like actual, maybe not commissions, but do like fun little like sketch requests and stuff at AMA and stuff. And stuff and junk and stuff. Alright, I gotta find him and I gotta find Hermes' boss. What a... There's a VeggieTales edition of this shit? Why aren't you at elf practice? God. Friggin' Rudolph's world is weird. Everyone's so grouchy. What's the beef? What's the beef with everybody in this universe, huh? What's everyone's deal? Why is everyone so demanding? Does everyone have their weapons and bear set for Santa this year? I'm a social worker. I get a free pass. Just like how I get out of jury duty without, I never have to do jury duty as long as I have the job. I get a free pass from Santa. I don't have to worry. I'm like Dr. Zoidberg in the Futurama episode. You've all been very naughty. Except for you, Zoidberg. Here's this pogo stick. Here's a gift for you. A pogo stick. And then that pogo stick ends up being Robot Santa's undoing. Futurama had some good T-1000 get him wherever he wants. That's friggin' horrifying. It's not like Composite Santa from Robot Chicken, is it? Temperature's over 60 degrees. My weakness. We have this, my mom has this Bumble, we have this whole little Rudolph display. And it's up on top of our fridge, and it always makes me think about, like we have a giant Bumble, and I always kind of look at it and go, like, you know, If this thing ever got up and decided to walk around, I don't think I'd be surprised. Okay, so I'm trying to draw Bumble from the side, so give me a second here. I thought the first Hobbit movie was okay. But I'm also not connected to The Hobbit. Or Lord of the Rings at all, for that general. Like, I heard that Rorahim movie, the anime, I heard it was alright. I mean, I respect them for actually having the balls to give that movie a theatrical release. Might not have been the wise decision, but I can respect that they put an animated feature film into theaters, and that's pretty cool in my opinion. I heard it was solid. Like, I guess the most I've heard about it is meh. And it's like, you know, I think anything after the original trilogy is going to be, like, tough to, like, really, you know... I think you're going to be barking up the wrong tree trying to beat, like, you know, the original trilogy, or have anything that's going to match that quality. Bumble is great design, though. I mean, of course. I mean, WB in general would just be better if Zaslav wasn't involved. Look, all I know is we're getting the day the Earth blew up, and I cannot wait. That movie, I'm banking so much on seeing that movie. Like, I'm getting over the fact that we're getting a fully animated Looney Tunes movie in theaters. That's impressive. I mean, I still wish we could have gotten Coyote versus Acme. My hope is that one day that's going to get found. You know, like one day someone will somehow find it and we'll all get to enjoy it. I know, right? Thank God. Like, how much of a moron can you be, though? I'm sorry. I know we've talked about this multiple times, but, like, you're telling me you don't want to release a movie that stars John Cena and, like, interacting with Looney Tunes characters? Are you stupid? What, are you stupid? I'm, like, trying to draw... Drawing Bumble's weird because I'm trying not to just draw him like King Kong. I mean, the trailer for The Day the Earth Blew Up looked great. I was a big fan of what I saw there. Trying to think, like, what would he... He's just going to be on a really big ladder. You know, a loudspeaker. I would agree. Yukon Cornelius is one of the... Yukon Cornelius is definitely like a top tier character. So I'm trying to like remember how big Bumble is because he's big, but he's not like he's not like a kaiju. I guess technically he is, but he's not like, you know, he's not like 40 stories tall, I don't think. Up from the depths. Hey, someone asked Derek Smith, the guy who does Screon. Ask him where Bumble lands on his monster loves. I feel like Bumble hits a spot for him. I feel like Bumble. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, big, but still, like, not like, oh, he can take like a handful of people and eat them all. 2-story house, that looks right. Yeah. I think this makes more sense. I can't expect perfection here. Expecting perfection from me is a dumb thing to do to begin with. You seen how I friggin' draw? It's like I kind of just like... It's like I'm having a constant panic attack and just throwing lines down, hoping something coherent comes out. It's great! It's like I typed in Rudolph Elf Practice. He's terrifying when he first friggin' shows up. Are you kidding me? Good thing this is after Yukon Cornelius put him in his place, because otherwise this guy would have been eaten like... This guy would have been bonked. I'm just gonna give him Bumble's gonna eat him. Yeah. Should I give Bumble like a giant elf hat? Maybe this is what Bumble's up to nowadays. Thank you guys so much for hanging out so much. Like it's been really cool to have like. I'm trying not to overdo it on live streams because it's like a thing I love to do, but these have been like, this has been my therapy, as I always say. I mean that. Oh wait, is it time for me to do my pack pull? You know what, John? You are correct, sir. What was I thinking? What was I thinking here? What is wrong with me? Of course, of course. There it is. Ah, this is why they pay you the big bucks, my friend. Our table's gonna be fun. That's good. I mean, if I can be anything for people, I would love to be that background noise. I'm perfectly happy. See, I gotta remember, Bumble's got a bit of a mustache. There we go. That's what I was messing up. Got a mustache, and he's got those big, big chompers. I'm trying to lean on him as much as I can. Sadly, most people don't return my calls. Okay, this is, yeah, I like how this turned out. Oh, yeah, that's right. Defunctland, aren't they? They're going into the creepy, like, Hall of Presidents style animatronics, right? I haven't watched Defunctland in a while. I really hope that he gets to continue, and I don't know what the status on it is, but I really hope he gets to continue with his VR idea, because I did the Defunctland VR thing for the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea segment. It was actually really well done. I was terrified of that ride as a child. We went on it, and I was too scared. So, I was, I was on the ground, panicking the whole ride, because... Oh, now I find people that actually... Phil, what the hell are you talking about? You know I would watch Defunctland. I first watched Defunctland because they did a video on the Jaws ride. And then I know there's the whole video he did on... the whole video on the Disney... Really? I would have thought this would have came up. Oh, yeah. Action Park. That's a fun one. Class action park, as they call it. Hell yeah. No, I fell down there was a while there where I really loved watching, theme park stuff. Did he do a whole series? Because I know he did a whole thing on, kind of the only bummer about Defunctland is that it really shows you how some of these properties get so mistreated. The Muppets being probably one of the biggest examples. How Disney, dropped the ball on the Muppets that hard is beyond me. It just doesn't really seem like they know what to do with them. I am glad that the Muppets continue to exist. They continue to thrive. We have to go to Philly mode and watch the making of the Atlantis movie documentary. Atlantis, the action park episode was better than the Johnny Knoxville movie. I was bummed out about that because that movie looked like it would have been fun, but it didn't look very good. Oh, well, I know what I'm watching now. I'll have to see if my buddy Mike, he's a huge guy when it comes to the Muppets. He had I know every year I would typically get him something Muppets related, but I know he's a big Muppets guy. I am too, but I'll admit I haven't looked as much into the actual history of the Muppets. But Muppet Babies was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Love the Muppet movie. Watched that a ton. Oh, I mean, I love Disney's Atlantis. Vinny is one of the best characters in any animated movie as far as I'm concerned. I actually posted the other day how this is the kind of energy I'm trying to bring into my 2025, and it's Vinny with the dynamite. And look, it wouldn't. I can't remember the exact line, but it's look, you can't blame this on me. I guess the guy who did his voice did a lot of those hand gestures when he was voice acting him. So a lot of gesticulations or whatever it was called. Oh, we were just talking about the 6 videos. First time I heard of the old coffee commercials he used to make. Really? I didn't even know he did those. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch those. Wow. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, we were actually just talking about that the other night because we were talking about... I have not seen Knives Out yet. I'm not the biggest whodunit guy, but I think that's predominantly because I just never sought out good examples of it. But I know, having, what's his name, Benoit Blanc, is that his name? Having him in a mystery with the Muppets would be, I mean, that's one of the easiest ideas ever, and the fact that nobody has done it yet. They tried it with Muppet Wizard of Oz, which I know isn't good from what I understand, but that doesn't mean they had to stop. Guaga Lake. Is that the one with the scary animatronics under the water? Andrew Fish from Sun Job. We're gonna get through this, John. I'm gonna do my absolute damnedest to make AMA fun for us all. Geoga. Huh. God, so much they could have had about 2. Wow. Yeah, that's on the agenda too. I think I'm gonna try to get into some of the murder mysteries, whodunit stuff. I want them to do a VR version of Kongfrontation, because that's a ride I would love to go on. Kongfrontation Well, Kaiju Brooklyn, of course, but I meant AMA because, like, I know that's, like, we're sharing a table, so we're like, chained to each other for that entire weekend. And it's like, I'm thinking about Deadpool and Wolverine, like, boy, I hope it doesn't end up like this at points. Nah, I think we're gonna have a good time. Lots of fun to be had there. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have fun. And then, yeah, I'm excited to come out to Kaiju Brooklyn and see your side of things. I'm very excited to hopefully get to meet Robo7, get to meet some people. That's right, we're still sharing the room for Kaiju Brooklyn. You are correct. Oh, I gotta get you the money for that. Thank you for the reminder. That's right. That's right. It's gonna be getting a double dose of Henshin John in May. That should be fun. That should be a good time. It used to be a SeaWorld next to Geoga Lake. Interesting. Very, very famous, but mismanaged by Six Flags and shut down by Cedar Fair. Oh. Like, I worry I made Bumble a bit too cutesy here, but I really love Jim Henson's timepiece, since we're talking about Jim Henson stuff. We jokingly say that's our friend Eric's day. That's his normal day. Yeah, I didn't know he, Oh, yeah, but, you know, I want to make sure you got what you need, though, man. I like to pay off my dues earlier if I can. No, Shauna, I'm the aggressive cuddler. I might have to watch Timepiece again soon. Okay, so one night, me and my buddy Eric were watching Timepiece, you know, because it was like we were just talking about Jim Henson, like we sometimes do, like most people do. You talk about. Speaking of which, though, what is everyone's thoughts on the Muppet History situation? That was so messed up. I got weird vibes. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, I knew it." I got weird vibes about Muppet History to begin with because, like, I'm just weird about fandom accounts in general. Because most of the time, it kind of seems like, you know, like, I get bad vibes when a fan account starts to kind of get, like, an ego. And I kind of felt I was starting to see that a bit, so I kind of cut ties and was like, I'm good. Like, not cut ties, I just unfollowed. I didn't know the guy. But, like, hearing that stuff, and it's like, it's so frustrating to me how... It's like with people who claim they love Superman. So what do? They act like someone Superman would friggin' hate. You know? So basically, Muppet History... Pulling on collar, I'm like... I mean, sorry, I hope I'm not I don't want to become a drama channel. I mean, there's nothing really to say. But basically, Muppet History, you know, big account on Twitter, Instagram, and all that. Well, the interesting thing about this is that the only reason I knew about it, the only reason anyone kind of pieced together something was wrong and it kind of broke into, like, being, like, big news, is because they posted, like, a vague account. They posted, like, a vague apology on their Twitter. And then it kind of, what is that, the Streisand effect, as they call it, where trying to downplay an event ends up bringing more attention to it. But yeah, I guess guy was kind of harassing people, or I apologize if I'm getting, like, I genuinely don't know what they identify as. I thought it was, I mostly saw people refer to it as he. Like, and all the articles would use he. Oh, I'll have to check that out, thank you. But yeah, just, you know, it just kind of sounded like fandom accounts. I've seen fandom accounts run amok. You know, they get some power, they get some notoriety. Yeah, they're being a sex pest. There you go. John just, you know, putting it out there as we should, really. Well, and I guess he was also, like, bullying and belittle other fandom accounts. And it's like, you know, man, I'm sorry. This is where I am with, like, hyperfixations. I get the concept of hyperfixations. I have hyperfixations myself, those things you just kind of zero in on and focus on. And I think the key with hyperfixations is that there has to be a breaking point. It's one thing to be able to talk incessantly about something. Like, I could go on for As anyone who frequents my streams knows, I can go on a friggin' tangent for like an hour about something stupid, like Doug. And it's like, yeah, I think that would qualify as one. Just you have those little things. But when I see like those cases where, because I've known people where, when the fixation starts to overtake the personality to where it pretty much is the personality, that's where I think the problem is. And it's like, whenever I see people joke about having a hyperfixation, I'm always like, no, yeah, but it's like, I think about it like, well, but I've also had conversations with this person about other things. There's more to it. But I've also had conversations with people where it's like, unless it specifically relates to that thing, they will not want anything to do with you. And it's kind of like a bummer, Like, I don't know. It's like anything. Balance, Sure, Thanos wasn't... Sure, Thanos overdid it, but he was right about balance. But that's just my take. I mean, again, I might be speaking from an ignorant standpoint. I do apologize. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with having hyperfixations. I mean, I clearly do. I think we all do. We all have those things that our brain, regardless of where you land on the spectrum, just kind of zeroes in, and it's like a thing that's comfort. It's something you can latch onto and talk about, and you really enjoy it and you love it. And that's great. I have many things like that myself. As I've also seen it kind of get out of hand where people start to like, it overtakes the person. I hope it's making sense what I'm saying. I never want to come off as if I'm like I just hope it makes sense what I'm saying, in the sense of like, I think they're perfectly natural and part of life, and I think we all have them. I just think there's like, sometimes you do have to kind of have like a dividing line in some cases where it's like, hey, there's more to you. Let's explore some of those other things. If not, I do apologize. I mean, perhaps I should have thought clearer, but that's just kind of my thing. I'm trying to think like, what would I have? Like, because I'm trying to think like, what do I have that's like a hyperfixation of mine? I'm trying to think of like, what are some exact ones? The Jaws. I can talk about Jaws a lot. I guess that would qualify as one. I was immensely fascinated by anything with Jaws in it. Like, I think the other night I sat and I watched a playthrough of the old ZX Spectrum Jaws game. And then I found out there was a Jaws text adventure that was made not too long ago. And there's all this other stuff. Oh, there you go, deck builders. Oh, that's right, I forgot about the most basic one, deck builders. You guys have seen me play Balatro, Slay the Spire, and Monster Train. I'm holding off. Drawing has become one of mine. Like, I know ever since I had that one really bad year where I really retreated into drawing a lot, drawing became like a repeat thing that I have to do almost to a point. I try to balance it. Thankfully, it's one of those hobbies that seems like it's mostly reasonable to. But yeah, drawing, that's a good one. I feel that. And again, no one ever be afraid to like challenge me on this stuff. Like, I'm not sitting here like, this is my screed. It's more like, here's a thought that might not be right. Okay. I'm trying to find... Oh, he has a beer. That's right. Sometimes I think it's worth it. I mean, I think hyperfixations are important, especially nowadays with just how kind of messed up the world can be. Sailor Moon and Pokemon, that's true. I've had... See, and I love listening to people talk about that stuff. Wear a Jaguar shirt. I am surprisingly not wearing my Jaguar hoodie. I'm wearing my house poncho tonight. Wearing my house poncho. But I'm either wearing a Jaguar or a Mothra hoodie nowadays. Both from Cavity Colors. Would have gotten a Megalon hoodie if they actually cared about them. Still admittedly a little salty about that. I love that I have like a real cool Jaguar. Well, so are mine. Like, geez. Well, and I think that's kind of why me and my friends kind of thought about doing just a podcast, because we all seem to share a same sort of like fixation on film, but we have that balance where we can go on about movies that maybe not the other person has seen. I love hearing about this stuff, and that's why like whenever I have guests on stream, and that's a big thing I do want to do in the next year. I want to like start like for anyone who does want to be on. I know Marcus wanted to be on. I mean, I know his hyperfixation is Banjo-Kazooie. I know that for damn sure. I mean, that was my wardrobe for a while. Like, how many Godzilla shirts do you have? About as many Star Wars shirts. That answers the question. Yeah, I've got a few shirts that I don't wear. I mean, one of them I don't wear because it was only available and I really wanted it in this particular size. It was a Godzilla Day at the pop-up store. It's like I forget what it says on there, but it's like a nice white shirt that has the picture of Jaguar and Godzilla shaking hands. I got it at Godzilla Day. I will never fit in a medium. I'll be lucky if I ever fit in an XL. I can't help it. I like food too much. Well, food's good, you know? Food's good, and I have money nowadays. Well, at least enough to survive. What are you boys up to? I didn't realize Freddie and Archie were down here. Archie, are you teasing? So Archie and Freddie... I need to increase my knowledge of... You know, I've never actually seen The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and I really want to do that. Because that's like one of the biggest examples of a German expressionist film, right? I'm open-minded about film. I think that's the key, kind of jumping back about all hyperfixations. I think it's great to have them. I think you need to be open-minded, though. And I think that's where I got kind of frustrated with the Doug thing. Because, like, I've talked to people who... Seen in Metropolis, another one, but I've talked to people who, like... They want you to respect what they're into, and it's like, hell yeah, man, I'm all for that. But then when you bring up something you like... I brought up Doug once, and this was in, like, a fun conversation, and suddenly I had to sit there and listen to how Doug sucked, and everything about it was dumb. I think it just kind of bothered me, because I'm like, I thought we were friends. I thought we was friends. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Nosferatu. I've seen Nosferatu. I've seen Nosferatu because, again, that dividing line for generations. Where did you learn about Nosferatu? Did you stumble on the movie at, like, 2 in the morning and it scared the bejesus out of you? Or did you see the episode of SpongeBob with the hash-slinging slasher? Either way, I will always adore the fact that Nosferatu, like, is a generational character because of that. I took a basic film course, and it was pretty good, except that day we had to keep watching the ending to Requiem for a Dream over and over again. That was emotionally exhausting and draining, and I really didn't like it. I do not need to ever watch that movie again. Definitely not a movie you watch if you want to feel good. Yeah, unsurprisingly to nobody, that is not a movie you watch when you want to feel good. Watching that ending, though, over and over again, friggin' brutal. And it's like, I understood why our professor was doing it.
I don't know that one.
I don't know either. Ooh. That's a rough one. I don't think I'd have the patience for that. I mean, granted, it's film history. There's always that weird... You know, I'm looking up, like, Rudolph. The female elf designs were cute. I always forget about them. There's a lot of fun details in Rudolph. Like, it's really, like, I really think Rudolph had a real interesting take on, like, Halloween, not Halloween, Christmas sort of, like, mythologies and standards. Rankin Bass really was a fantastic company, and I think they're still around, aren't they? Like, in some way? Maybe not, but I don't know. They always gave, like, unique takes to all of their things that were pretty interesting. Granted, you know what movie I hated? Mad Monster Party. Oh, that's right, it is owned by Warner Brothers. Queuing up that, like, shirt collar, tugging at the shirt collar, like, Yeah, I guess that would make sense, what with Lord of the Rings and all. Mad Monster Party, though, was infuriating. I actually thought I'd like that movie way more than I did. I was just thinking about Thundercats today because over the week, for whatever reason, well, yeah, nobody really talks about them because they're not that good. I mean, Mad Monster Party has every reason to be good. Frank Frazetta, I think, did the poster for it. Like, there's a real cool Frank Frazetta poster for that movie, I'm pretty sure. But the movie itself has one of the most annoying protagonists conceivably possible. And you'd think a Rankin Bass movie where King Kong shows up and all these other monsters would be great, but it's kind of not fun. Like, it's just not good. It's like, but the comedy wasn't even good. I remember the lead character seemed like the lead character seemed like one of those cases where they wanted. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of the megaphone and just have him pointing at. I'm gonna do something, I think, to switch this up. This guy's voice is so powerful, he don't need no megaphone. Like, the lead character seemed like he was trying to be like a Rick Moranis style character, but without any of the charm or comedy that Rick Moranis tends to bring to performances. So he was just really kind of an annoying fuck up. I know that's incredibly harsh, but like, he has like allergies and he's always bumbling and he's always doing dumb stuff. And it's just kind of like, it's a baffling misfire of a movie. Which is weird because, yeah, like Rankin Bass and Halloween seems like something that should go together, like, you know, peanut butter and jelly or whatever the hell you want to refer to, you know, your favorite combination. I just remember by the end of the movie being annoyed and tired. Like, I should have liked this more than I did, and I didn't. Yes, actually, growing up, that was probably the Rankin Bass movie I watched the most because a buddy of mine had it on. He had it on VHS. I need to watch it again because I don't really remember much of the plot, and I know that sounds silly, but I don't remember much of what was going on. Good to hear, man. Yeah, take it easy. Rest up. You have a good night's sleep, and thank you for hanging out, Master. Always a pleasure. I want to watch that Miser Brothers Christmas special. Because I remember the first year I watched it, because people are always like shocked I didn't know who the hell the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser were. And I'm like, that is weird. So one day at work, like years ago, when I was working one of the houses and it was Christmas Day, a lot of the individuals had gone home and the ones who were there were kind of just like really low-key and chill. You know, they just kind of were happy to just be there. They wanted to sleep in, and I was like, yeah, man, go sleep in. I'm not going to tell you to... I will definitely not tell you to... It's Christmas, my friend. You go and rest up. I am all for sleeping in. And I remember watching the summer or the Christmas Without Santa Claus, and it's like... Yeah, no wonder I don't know who the frig these characters are. They're in the movie for their songs, and then I don't think you ever see them again. Like, everyone made it out like they were like the stars of the show, and it's like, no, they're in there for like a few minutes. They do 2 really catchy and iconic songs that are essentially the same song, but I love it. The Big Bad Voodoo Daddy version is one that I listen to frequently. Oh, I found so a couple streams ago when we were talking about the Miser Brothers, the Helblinky Sextet is the version I was talking about. That was pretty good. I'll have to post it in somewhere. It's like a weird version by some weird band. It was pretty catchy though. Kind of horny at the end. The lady singing as Heat Miser is kind of like. I'll set it on VHS. I saw it again a few years ago. It's time to retread of Santa Claus come out in the world, and the special so interesting and leaves so many questions that need answers. Rankin Bass establishing bizarre holiday lore and then never building on it. Name a more iconic duo. Let's see. It is 8:53, so I think I'm just going to hang out for a few minutes and finish my drink. I'm going to keep working on this. Thank you, John, for the idea, and of course for the call of making his hat super tiny. I mean, that was the appropriate answer. I can't believe it. I need to start watching some old Looney Tunes cartoons again. I gotta get back in my slapstick mode. Been doing too many horny paintings. Oh, stretched a bit. But yeah, there's like a Miser Brothers Christmas special where it's like you meet all the other elementals or whatever, and I guess Mother Nature? I've seen 2 versions of Mother Nature. One is like a typical Rankin Bass old lady, and then the other one a friend of mine thought was like the hottest thing in the world, and I was like, shut. And she's like a poncy looking Victorian lady. Actually, since we're just kind of hanging out, I'm gonna look up some Rankin Bass stuff if y'all don't mind. I'm kind of curious. We'll pull up Rankin Bass's wiki. The Rankin wiki. Oh, that sounds that's Rankin Wiki sounds like almost like a 90s platformer game. The tubular adventures of Rankin Willie. Rankin Wiki was what I said, but Rankin Willie sounds even weirder. Alright, let me pull something up here. Rankin Bass. I kind of wanted to see. So they have the same plot about this town banning something, but instead of toys, it's kids leaving there. Yeah, that's okay. I do remember that. That's where the mailman from the 2 specials came from. Okay. Huh. The Rankin Bass cinematic. Well, then there's also, what, Rudolph's Shining New Year, where he has to rescue Baby New Year, or he has to bring Baby New Year back or something. I know people who love that one. They love it because of the scumbag. They like that one because of the scumbag reindeer in it. What's his name? Like Scratch or something like that? I knew a guy who really liked him. Alright, so here we are in the Rankin Bass, located in New York. Oh, hey! Ubiquitous powdery snow. I mean, yeah. Nearly all of the studio's animation was outsourced. Interesting. Toei animation. Alright. Oh, 1 second. I don't think it came through. Hold up. The Winter Warlock. Frosty and Real Life was saved by Lion-O. Yeah, why not? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I just want to get to some of their... Oh, they got different eras? Are you kidding me? Whoa, wait. They did something with Gumby? Video crafts, okay. Stop motion process using Davy and Goliath, not a Gravy and Goliath. It's a pipe bomb with which to blow up Planned Parenthood. I don't know, Gravy. Tales of Wizards of Oz, blah blah blah. The Winter Warlock. King Kong escapes from the King Kong show. That's right, they did do that. So Hello Kitty, that's interesting. See, because so for me growing up, the show that I remember about Hello Kitty was Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theater, because we had a VHS tape with more like old cartoons on it, and the one episode, it was an '80s morning cartoon, and they did like parody of Star Wars, Tarzan, and the one we had was Dracula, and it was really kind of a cute concept for a show because it was like you would see the behind the scenes of them going to put on the play. I never watched those King Kong shows. It's funny how many cartoons King Kong has had. So I guess it's great that he's always kind of existed beyond. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh wow. Okay, I just want to get to a list because I'll be here all night. I'll be here all night. Oh wait, hold on. Mike Nelson. Specials of Rankin Bass have been parodied. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Last Week Unicorn is... Yeah, I watched the series. I didn't know that they did a special, but that makes sense because it seemed like when it brought Hello Kitty to America, a lot of it was kind of injecting Hello Kitty into popular culture. So it makes sense to me that they would do that. Oh yeah, I remember the 25 Days of Christmas on the ABC, because I remember catching a glimpse of the Heat Miser and being like, who the hell is this weirdo? There we go, list of Rankin Bass. So Rudolph was 1964, man. And it's crazy to think how this came out. King Kong versus Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. I mean, hell yeah. Mouse on the Mayflower, 60 years old. Still timeless. I mean, I don't think that movie's ever gone anywhere. You know, Rankin Bass's stop motion stuff was great, but I always really liked their animation style too. I really like Frosty. They had a very good house style. Like, their stuff was very American cartoon, but it had a particular vibe to it that I thought. Here comes Peter Cottontail. I think this is the one that I watched. Okay, so hold up. This is the one that I watched that I don't remember. Oh, Casey Kasem. Vincent Price! There he is. There he is in all of his glory. So yeah, I think this was the movie I watched. Well, yeah, Usagoji mentioned that The Last Dinosaur. That's kind of a reason. Mad Monsters. Is this? Yeah. Ugh, this one should have been so much better. It's just annoying. Dumb. Girl in Wonderland, The Red Baron. Wow, they did a lot more stuff than I thought. I might have to go on like a Rankin Bass deep dive. I do know if I ever got like the opportunity to make a special, like a Christmas special, of course I would have to have at least one segment of it be in the style of the Rankin Bass stop motion. Year Without Santa Claus. This is the one with the snow miser, right? The first Easter rabbit. Oh, is that like the first, like the, you know... Here, hold up. Let's look for... Yeah, Rudolph's Shiny New Year. That came out in 76. For some reason, it always... The Little Drummer Boy 2. Book 2. Easter Bunny is coming to town. That's the one John was mentioning. The Hobbit. Hold on. I gotta, like, clarify something on my end. Okay, got it. My brain always wants to tell me that this movie was made... I know it's Rankin Bass, but my brain keeps going to the Bakshi Lord of the Rings. God, I remember catching this on Mr. Spim's Cartoon Theater, which was Cartoon Network's like movie hour, where they'd play a movie on Sunday nights, and they'd always play like something. They'd always play some unique stuff. Like they'd play Rockadoodle. They'd play like. They would just kind of get any movie they can get a handle of. And they played a lot of Rankin Bass, apparently. I know the Return of the King, because where there's a whip, there's a way. Ah, that's right, Flight of Dragons. This one's supposed to be pretty good, too. Man, I'm going through this whole thing. I'm sorry. Wind in the Willows. Huh. Willie McBean and his magic machine. Not to be confused with Dr. Robotnik and his mean bean machine. These are feature films. Yeah, like, look at this. Mad Monster Party had, like, I was hoping I could get a better review. Jeez, guys. Yeah, Flight of Dragons seemed like it was kind of on the same level of Last Unicorn. It just didn't get the, it just did not get the, like, the big sort of recognition. But yeah, like, this movie had a Frazetta poster and everything. Like, you would have thought it'd been better, but it was just not. Like that plot. Oh, planning to retire as head of the Worldwide Organization of Monsters. Again, sounds like the greatest thing ever. Oh, here we go. The King Kong show. The tomfoolery show, huh? Ah, Silverhawks. I didn't learn about Silverhawks until later, but it was cool. I was thinking about Thundercats because... Wait, they produced... Wow. Yeah, here it is. I did not know Rankin Bass had anything to do with this. I'll admit, this is a movie outside of my love for Mechanicong, I do need to revisit it more often. Oh, here it is. Last Dinosaur. Co-directed. Interesting. Airing on... Oh, it failed to find... So it was made for TV, technically. It's the Bermuda Deaths. Interesting. Excuse me. Joan Van Ark, Richard Boone. Huh. Yeah, I got a lot of Rankin Bass to watch. Oh, here it is, the Bermuda Deaths. Special effects and creature elements were handled by Subaraya. That's cool as hell. Carl Weathers is in here. Cool. Carl Weathers, Burl Ives. Huh. Again, I know I've been doing that a lot tonight, but there's a lot of this. Wait, the Bushido blade. Holy hell. They did a whoa, hold on. How have I not seen this? Filmed in 78, not released until 81. Look at this cast. Sonny Chiba, James Earl Jones, Mako, Aku himself, Toshiro Mifune. I'm bad at that pronunciation. Is this him? Is this the guy I'm thinking of? Is this yep. he was in Walker, Texas Ranger? No way. Ah, man. Yeah, he did the voice of, he was Splinter in the 2004, wasn't he? Or was... Wow. Yeah, I'll have to check this out. Look at that. That cast is insane to me. There was a movie where James Earl Jones, Sonny Chiba, and Toshiro Mifune were all together. Wasn't he Iroh? Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Mako was a very, very prolific voice actor. I mean, most of us know him as Aku. Anyone? I don't think a lot of us can hear the word foolish without immediately thinking of being called a foolish samurai. Wow. What a legacy. That's right, he was in Conan, I do remember that. Yeah, there he is. First 2 seasons, because I think he passed away. Yeah, I think they had to do the same thing with Aku. He had a very particular way of how... Yep, he was, I mean, if you needed something to be narrated with some gravitas, you got him. Yes, he was Splinter in the 2004 animated movie, and I believe they dedicated the movie to him at the end. That's an okay movie, by the way. I don't think enough people talk about it. Like, I think it's actually I'm gonna go back to his page really quick. I think that movie was okay. I mean, he was in RoboCop 3. Nobody was happy in that. Japanese spy comedy. Cool. Ah, he was in the Big Brawl? Cool. Again, learning so much. This is what I love. Oh yeah, the fight between Leonardo and Raphael on the rooftop. Hands down one of the greatest like animated fight scenes, like one of the greatest fight scenes in that entire franchise. That was a high point. Any complaints that I've heard about that movie usually fall to the wayside when you remind people about that fight. It's kind of a shame that they didn't get to do a movie because they hint that Shredder was going to come back because I think, that's Karai. And, they said, like, oh, we'll meet again or something like that. Hey, look, he was in Highlander 3. Yeah, I go back and I watch that fight scene often. I remember seeing that in theaters and just being like, man. He was Bulletproof Monk, a movie that should have been much better than it should have been. He was in Frasier, Walker Texas Ranger, Monk. He was in the original. Wow, man, he really had a prolific career. Like, that's a hell of a repertoire here. I remember True Crime: Streets of L.A. It was one of the better, I think, GTA knockoffs. No, there is only one. Yeah, and I think at the end of the movie, she kind of hints that, oh, he might be alive again, how they usually do it. And Shredder doesn't stay dead. He finds some way to come back. Here it is, yeah, lead voiceover for TMNT as the voice of Splinter. The film being... I think that's a very fine film to have dedicated to him. Patrick Stewart was in that one, too. Yeah, not a bad movie. Like, I mean, leaps and bounds better than friggin' Ninja Turtles 3. I'd still place it above either of the Michael Bay movies. Wow. Video game was okay from what I remember. Yeah, it's kind of a shame though. I would have liked to have seen one more. There were some cool things in there. Chris Evans was in it? Who was he? Hold on, who was Chris Evans in this one? This was like... I gotta see the voice cast here. Who was Chris Evans in this movie? Chris Evans was Casey Jones. Man, that's perfect. I forgot Casey was in the movie. Wait, was he? Wow, I forgot all about it. Huh. Neat. I had no idea. Patrick Stewart was the businessman. I still gotta see Mutant Mayhem. I still have to watch that. Oh, good old Kevin Michael Richardson. Probably one of my favorite voice actors living today. I had no idea he was the voice of Goro in the movie. That is cool as hell. Sorry, the stream has just turned... Fred Tatasciore is in there. I always forget to pronounce his name. I'm sorry, the stream mostly just devolved into me going like, he was this guy? Cool! I love Kevin Michael Richardson. Principal Lewis is one of my absolute favorite characters. I know he was Captain Gantu. That's cool. So Scorpion's Revenge was one of the cooler... I really like that movie. I had no idea he was back as... I didn't know he did Goro in the original. See, this is what I loved about Wikipedia back in the day. Was kind of just going down the... I know! Well, this is what I used to do with... This is what I used to do when I first discovered Wikipedia. I would just look up something I liked, and I would just end up going down this rabbit hole. And I don't feel enough people do this anymore. Like, this was the fun, where you just kind of go, oh, he was in this movie. Oh, wait, who was in this movie, too? Wow, this person was in that? And he was a great Bulkhead. I think he's part of the reason I love Bulkhead in the Prime. Yeah, well, I can do this all night, so I don't want to keep y'all. Oh, man, Andy's still streaming. What's he up to? He's still looking up Wikipedia. Yeah, he's just kind of like Jack Skellington. Go, what's this? What's this? Tom Selleck was in this movie? Weird, right? Well, anyway, thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Obviously, I don't think I will be doing a Wednesday stream, what with that being Christmas Day. I hope everybody has a great holiday. I'll be around, obviously. See everyone on the social medias. Thank you all for hanging out. We got something. I'll have to work on this. I'm watching Mutant Mayhem. I think Mutant Mayhem's going to be on the agenda. I am happy with this. Thank you for letting me indulge myself. I don't know what that expression is. But yeah, everyone, have yourself a great Christmas, a great holiday. I think I'll definitely be sneaking a stream in before New Year's and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I hope everyone has a good one. I want this to be a good end of the year for everybody, and I want us all to go into the next year fresh, right? Yes, may Godzilla may Godzilla or Kong, either of your choices, bless you on this most solemn of holidays. Happy non-denominational holiday celebration, everybody! I can't remember what Krusty's thing was, but what was it, like a tip-top tet? A happy Hanukkah and a solemn and respectable Ramadan. I always forget it was in the Festivus. Yes, so anyway, everyone, have yourselves a great holiday. I hope you all get whatever you want. And I hope you all go into this next year, if I don't see you until then, with the best of fortunes. Thank you all, as always, for the support, hanging out, listening to me ramble. I know sometimes it goes off on some random tangents. Believe me, I appreciate it. People haven't turned off the stream yet, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Alright, everybody. You all take it easy, and I will see you all next time. Happy holidays.